production of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
It's the last day of this road trip, and the Brewers with a win today can make it a 500 road trip. It's the Brew Crew of the Arizona Diamondbacks from Chase Field in Phoenix, and what a performance last night. The Brewers with a record-setting night for the season, 15 runs on 19 hits, and Ryan Braun with 7 RBIs matched a franchise record for RBIs in the game. There were a lot more records to talk about from last night, but a big win for the Brew Crew last night. And hi everybody, we welcome you to Chase Field in Phoenix. Great to have you with us today. I'm Brian Anderson alongside Bill Schroeder. Sophia Minard is our reporter. Well, there's a lot to talk about from last night and a lot of avenues you could go, but let's go to Keon Broxton because one change in his batting stance seems to have made a major difference.
Yeah, and that's a big change. And when you change and revolutionize your batting stance in the middle of a season, that's something that a lot of times will take an entire offseason. This is Broxton early in the season. You see how high his hands are, and what he's doing is it's a lot of big body swing, and sometimes he pulls off the baseball and not able to cover the outside corner. Well, now he and Darnell Coles worked on this. Dropped the hands a little bit, much softer, throwing the hands much better at the baseball, covering the outside corner, very quick on the inside corner. He is a much different hitter. I can't begin to tell you how difficult that is for a young player to do that at the major league level in the middle of the season. It took a lot of commitment for him. Good for him, and he's been pretty productive.
6 straight at-bats or plate appearances on base, tied a rookie record with those 5 hits last night. Jonathan Villar just keeps on hitting. He matched a career best yesterday as well, had 4 hits. Sophia will get the manager's perspective on the new third baseman.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. and by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The series finale between the Brewers and the Diamondbacks coming up here at Chase Field. Jimmy Nelson, a 6-10 record for him. The earned run average still good at .374, but he's lost his last 3 starts. Looking to get back on the winning track, he'll be facing Archie Bradley today for the Diamondbacks. From Chase Field here in Phoenix, Arizona, I'm Sophia Minner, and there was certainly a lot to like from the Brewers offense last night. Season highs in both runs at 15 and hits in 19, and a lot of that production started right at the top of the order with third baseman Jonathan Villar. He was on base 6 times and a career-high 4-hit day. So Villar is with the position change over to third base. It has not slowed him down at the plate. You see what he's been able to do over his last 4 games. 10 hits for him, 4 of those for doubles, 2 RBIs, continues to steal bases, lead all of the major leagues with 2 in the last 4 games and drawing 4 walks as well. Manager Craig Counsell said Villar does a lot of things well in that leadoff spot to give pitchers such a tough at-bat.
I mean, what he's been really good at is really, I think, when he gets to 2 strikes, he is able to lay off speed out of the zone. That's what I think he's the best. That's what I think he's done a really good job of. So he extends at bats. He does a really good job of. It's not always, when you talk about walks and getting on base, it's not always, walking. It's getting another pitch in the at bat to maybe get a hit with, So he's done a really good job of getting another pitch in the at bat, and he just knows the strike zone well.
Jonathan Villar and the Brewers look to hang another big number on the Diamondbacks here this afternoon as Jimmy Nelson looks to snap his losing streak. We've got first pitch and lineups with Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder coming up next here from Chase Field.
A 15-6 win last night evens this series at 1 apiece. Now the Brewers behind their leadoff man Jonathan Villar and Ryan Braun with 7 RBIs last night, trying to win this rubber game of this 3-game set and make it an even road trip. Today's game presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Roof is all closed up. It is well over 100 degrees outside here in Phoenix, Arizona. The air condition on full blast. Very comfortable inside Chase Field. It's 106 outside, 75 degrees inside. And the Brewers are looking forward to returning home to Miller Park, starting a homestand tomorrow against the Braves. Here's Craig Counsell's Potawatomi batting order today. Villar back in the leadoff spot. Arcia hits second, and Ryan Braun in the middle. It goes Scooter Gennett, Kurt Neuenhuis, and Keon Broxton has earned his way back in today. Andy Wilkins gets the start for Carter at first, with Maldonado and Nelson rounding out the starting 9 that will face right-hander Archie Bradley, who's coming off a tough outing against the Washington Nationals, and Rock has been hit hard this season.
Yeah, again, you can see his numbers, a .475 earned run average. One of his best starts came against the Brewers. That was in Milwaukee a couple of starts ago, an 8-1 victory for Bradley over Milwaukee.
Well, Bradley ready to work. First pitch to Villar is outside, ball 1, and away we go. This Diamondbacks pitching staff has really scuffled this year, and their bullpen has struggled mightily, and the Brewers took advantage of that bullpen last night. It was actually a 2-0 game going into the 5th inning last night, but Chip Hale's bullpen collapsed, and the Brewers were able to put 15 runs on the board, a season high for Milwaukee. Archie Bradley, with that loss against the Nationals, got called up from AAA Reno in late May. He is among their best prospects, rated as their number 2 prospect prior to the season, their top pitching prospect. As Villar swings and fouls it away, 2-2 the count.
Yeah, fastball pretty straight for Bradley, and he's got that overhand curveball. We saw in the first game of this series a pretty good curveball out of Shipley, who threw the ball very well. But last time out against the Nationals, he got hit hard. Did Archie Bradley.
Now Bradley is just 23. He'll turn 24 in 3 days. But he is a part of the rebuild for the Diamondbacks. They felt that they were ready to contend for the National League West this season, and made the big push, and they signed Zach Greinke, a free agent contract. Greinke's been on the disabled list with an oblique injury. He is coming back. He's supposed to pitch Tuesday when the Diamondbacks head to New York. So that's a big pitch and a big spot in that rotation for the Diamondbacks. But it has been a lost season for them. On the 8th pitch, a slow roller foul. And Villar doing what a good leadoff hitter should do. Work the count and see a lot of pitches.
I heard Craig Counsell talking about Villar when we came on the air talking to Sophia. And fact is that Villar has done a nice job late in the count laying off speed pitches that are out of the strike zone to give himself another shot at maybe a fastball for a strike. And that's why that batting average is at .306. I mean, he has been red hot on this road trip. And certainly the move to third base hasn't affected that offense a bit.
Well, Villar still battling up there. He's going to see at least 10 pitches in this opening at bat of the ball game. Jonathan did commit a couple of errors yesterday, 2 throwing errors, and have to cut him a little bit of slack as he gets used to the new position of third base, with Arcia now in the mix at short. But a career high 4 hits last night. Wow, what an at bat here to start the game for Villar. This is a starting pitcher's nightmare.
Right. Especially after his last time out. You know, the Nationals dropped 7 earned runs in 3 1/3 on him. 93 pitches for him in only 3 1/3 innings.
Pitch number 11 of the at bat. And Villar fouls another one away. Villar comes in with a batting average of .306 Has 8 homers, 40 runs batted in. Pitch number 12 is fouled off. How deep can he go here?
He's fouling off everything. The fastball, the curveball. It's one of those things. I mean, you look at it a couple of different ways. Villar's had some good pitches to hit that he's just been able to foul off. So I would imagine Bradley feeling pretty good that he's gotten away with some pitches down the middle.
Pitch number 13. And it's another foul ball.
I like that one right there.
There's a lot of souvenirs for the fans early in this game. Gonna have to rub up a few more baseballs for this one. Wow, look at that cluster of pitches.
And look at all the pitches that are well in that box. A lot of them that VR has been able to foul off. And pitches normally you're going to see him drive somewhere.
3-2 again. And pitch number 14 is a ball. And that's going to go down as one of the great at-bats of the season for Jonathan Villar. A 14-pitch battle that results in a walk.
Shortstop, number 3, Orlando Arcia.
I want to check out the Menards Diamondbacks defense. They flashed the leather pretty well in last night's game. You got former Brewer Ricky Weeks out in left field, Bourne and Tomas in the outfield, Lamb Owings on the left side, Segura Goldschmidt on the right side, and Tuffy Ghostwitch behind home plate.
Well, so Villar is aboard to start it. Here's Arcia now, and Villar takes off right away, pitch in the dirt, and the league's top base stealer adds one more to it. That is number 42 for Jonathan Villar, and immediately to second base.
And not messing around. He was pretty conservative on the bases last night. Had some opportunities to run, did not. This time taking off right away, and you know, Bradley really not paying much attention to him for some reason.
You see Villar is now 3 ahead of Billy Hamilton of the Reds, who led the league last season in steals. Runner at second, nobody out. Arcia at the plate, chance to drive in a run. Brewers much improved last night with runners in scoring position after a dreadful run with runners in scoring position where they were 4 for 40 in the previous 5 games leading up to last night.
Yeah, 7 for 19, and they started out 0 for 6 in the game. So as the game went on, got much better. They're coming up with those big hits. 7 for 19 last night, and 15 RBIs.
Well, Arcia was among the superlatives following the game. There were a number of them for many players, but Arcia last night became just the 3rd rookie in franchise history to score 4 runs in a game. Wayne Comer did it way back in '69. That was as a member of the Pilots, and Scott Posednik did it in '03. So Arcia, the 3rd to do it in franchise history, and the 2nd in Milwaukee baseball history. Arcia, bouncing ball up the middle, played by Owings. The throw is in time. Nice play by the Diamondback shortstop on a top spin ground ball. VR does advance, and the first out of the ball game for Archie Bradley.
Well, and that's the big part of that. I mean, he might have made it out, but doing a nice job pulling the hands in and advancing VR to third base. That's good situational hitting for Orlando Arcia.
And that's why you see the high fives in the dugout. He makes it out, but he advances the runner. And here comes Ryan Braun. Franchise record tying performance last night for Braun. 7 RBIs. He hit 2 3-run home runs last night. Also had a sacrifice fly. Infield is in early for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, back-to-back innings for Ryan Braun. 3-run home run, 6th and the 7th.
Now Braun jumped his batting average up to .324 with his effort last night. That's 4th best in the National League starting play today. And a wave and a miss and a breaking ball.
Man, he's got a good curveball. He really does.
You see the franchise leaderboard for RBIs in a game, and Braun joins Lucroy as the only players with 2 7 RBI games. Lucroy did it twice in the 2012 season. Ryan had a 7 RBI game against the Phillies. That was a 3-homer game for him. And coming into today, no Brewer has ever had a 3-homer game outside of Braun. Twice in his career. He did it in San Diego a few years back, and 3-homer game in Philadelphia last year. And that skips away from Goswitch, and here comes VR. He'll score on a wild pitch. So truly a thorn in the side of the Diamondbacks, the Brewers leadoff hitter. After a 14-pitch walk, he steals second, advanced to third on a grounder, and scores on a wild pitch.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, a fastball, not much you can do behind home plate. Don't have time to get down and block it with the conventional style, but got the glove, hit the mask, and VR able to score.
Base is empty. Infield moves back. 2-2 the count with 1 out on Braun. And that one misses low. Thing about Braun's effort yesterday, he had the back-to-back 3-run home run in back-to-back innings yesterday. That one's deep into center field. Michael Bourne is back, and he'll make the play for out number 2.
Yeah, home run to center field in the 6th and one to right in the 7th inning, and then in the 9th inning, for good measure, a base hit.
Yeah,
so
right.
Had a good end of the game, did Ryan Braun. Of course, the entire team had a good end of the game, started in the 6th inning.
Scooter Gennett had a nice little rally at the plate, had been 0 for 4. He got hits in his last 2 at-bats, 2 for 10 in this series, does have an RBI. Comes in batting .272 and an unlikely cleanup hitter today. Craig Counsell has back-to-back lefties in there, and Gennett and Neuenhuis.
It's been Hernan Perez hitting in the cleanup spot the last few games, getting today off.
Chris Carter, Hernan Perez, days off. We figure Keon Broxton, and we were wondering about this last night. When you have 5 hits and a walk, got to find your spot in the lineup the next day, right?
Yeah.
And for Craig Counsell, that was enough to get him in there, and so that shifted up the lineup a little bit.
Played a hot hand.
Keon anxious for his first at bat of the night. And Gennett fouls it away.
Oh, hung that curveball. Goswitch wanted it in the dirt. Left it up. Scooter would like to have another shot at a pitch like that.
Third time in his career, Gennett has hit cleanup. And Craig Counsell, and certainly the way the game is going these days, you don't fall into the traditional lineup configuration with the big power hitter hitting cleanup, and it all depends on who fits best in what spot.
Tuffy Goswitch was running into the dugout after that pitch. Didn't say a word though.
It looked like a pretty good pitch. Pitch number 5 looked like it was on the corner. And Gennett bounces one to short. And that will retire the side. Good start for the Crew today. Jonathan VR scores. Jimmy Nelson staked to a lead as he heads out. On the wild pitch. Tied for the most to lead off a game, by the way. Odubel Herrera had one earlier this year for the Phillies. Here's the Chip Hale Diamondbacks Potawatomi batting order. Gene Segura in that leadoff spot today again. Michael Bourne, Paul Goldschmidt. In the middle goes Jake Lamb, Yasmani Tomas, Ricky Weeks Jr., former Brewer. And then Chris Owings, Tuffy Goswitch, and Archie Bradley rounding out the starting nine against big Jimmy Nelson. Hoping for a win today, trying to get the season back on track. Numbers aren't awful, Rock, but I think Jimmy feels like he's got a whole lot more in the tank.
Yeah, he's lost 3 in a row. Scuffled last time out against the Padres. 4 innings, 6 earned runs in a loss in San Diego. 2-5 on the road is Jimmy Nelson with a .537 earned run average, so he's pitched much better at Miller Park this year.
Gene Segura, who homered last night, hit a 2-run shot late in the game on the ground to Jeanette, and there is out number 1.
Let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. Yeah, no real changes. You got Neuenhuis out in right field, giving Broxton another opportunity out in center. Andy Wilkins getting his first start for the Brewers, and that's at first base. Chris Carter sitting this one out. And Martin Maldonado behind home plate. He's catching the day game after the night game.
Wilkins becomes the 4th different player to get a start at first base this year. Carter's the regular first baseman. Lucroy had 5 starts, and Ramon Flores had 1 start. Wilkins with the double last night. Happy to see his name in the lineup as Chris Carter gets the day off. Bourne shows bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 2. Michael Bourne still being paid by the Cleveland Indians handsomely. Big contract he signed. He's actually been released twice since that time, signing on with the Diamondbacks. He is finishing up a 4-year contract that he signed originally with the Cleveland Indians.
The Diamondbacks needed a center fielder. They lost their center fielder right at the end of spring training, A.J. Pollock. And they needed somebody out there that can run them down in center. It's a big outfield here at Chase Field.
Diamondbacks are hopeful that Pollock, who is an all-star performer, will be back before September 1st. Had a fractured arm, and he is in a minor league rehab setting now. It's kind of been the way the season's gone for the Diamondbacks. They've had key injuries. Goldschmidt's had a bit of a down season. Still decent numbers, but not typical MVP type numbers. Greinke has been ineffective, and then the last 6 weeks he's been hurt. So it's all gone wrong for the Diamondbacks this season. And their front office coming under some scrutiny. Tony La Russa heads up their baseball operations. Dave Stewart, his former pitcher in Oakland, the general manager.
And you wonder what the future for those two is going to bring. Very disappointing season here in Arizona. Of course, you can't do a whole lot about injuries, and that's really been the story.
Now, Diamondbacks starting play today are 22 games under 500, 44 and 66. The Brewers are 10 under at 49 and 59. The biggest difference, however, if you go back to spring training and what we saw of the Diamondbacks, you felt they were going to have a chance to contend in the National League West. This looks like a very good team on paper. They just have underperformed.
Yeah, they barely lost a game in spring training. I mean, they were winning just about every day.
Full count to Bourne. Long battle here between Nelson and the number 2 hitter for the Diamondbacks. And that is ball 4, and Bourne draws the walk.
And last time out against the Padres, Jimmy Nelson walked 4 batters, 4 walks, 8 hits, allowing 6 earned runs in 4 innings.
Now Nelson has only 1 win since the end of May, when he beat the Reds on May 29th. That lone victory came against Cincinnati on the road on July 16th. No decisions and losses ever since that time. He was actually at one point 5-2 on the season.
Well, maybe seeing the Diamondbacks is going to turn him around here, and he's got good numbers. 1-1 in 3 starts. It's not only 6 earned runs in just shy of 18 innings of work. So good numbers for Nelson against Arizona.
Paul Goldschmidt with a runner at first. Goldschmidt comes in batting .295. 17 homers, 70 RBIs. He has a chance with a flurry in the final 2 months to drive in 100. And at the end of the day, it's still going to be a good year for Goldschmidt. He's going to hit around 300, probably be in, you know, the 20 to 25 home run range, close to 100 RBIs. But he is the one big bat in this lineup. And those who watch him every day feel like he just hasn't had the same kind of impact on the ball club, and maybe putting a little too much pressure on himself to pick up some of the slack.
You just wonder how willing teams are, especially late in the game, to pitch to him. I mean, throwing him strikes, maybe understanding that, expanding his zone just a little bit. Although Lamb, the on-deck hitters, had a good year.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and that skips away from Maldonado. Bourne thought about third. He'll settle for second on a wild pitch and takes Nelson out of a double play opportunity. Now a runner in scoring position. The Brewers scored in the first inning on a wild pitch. VR came in from third. 2-2 to Goldschmidt. And a ground ball to short, gobbled up by Arcia. Man, what a play that was. That is high risk, high reward on a short hop, and Arcia makes it look easy.
Well, understanding the Goldschmidt, I mean, surprisingly fast down the line. He realized by laid back, might not be able to get him. So he charges it right away and catches an in-between hop. Well, he's got nice soft hands. He really does. We've seen that a couple of times already. And a really nice play in yesterday's game on a backhand just like that.
And if he waits back, there's no chance he's going to throw out Goldschmidt at first base. Aggressive. Made the hop as easy as he could on himself and makes the play for the second out. Here's Lamb now. Diamondbacks have had their troubles with runners in scoring position on this current homestand, where they got swept by the Nationals in 3, and they've split with the Brewers, but they are just 1 for 12 in this series. That lone hit came Friday. 0 for 6 yesterday. And a strike to Lamb.
We got that two-seam fastball working pretty well in the first inning here today. That power sinker is only 93 right now, so velocity a bit down for Jimmy. We've seen that over his last few starts.
Now Lamb's inside the top 10 in home runs in the National League with 23. And he drives one into left field, a base hit, and here comes Bourne. Here comes the throw from Braun. Got a chance. The hop and out at the plate. What a throw by Ryan Braun. A perfect strike to Maldonado.
Well, you wonder if the Diamondbacks want to take a look and see if Maldonado blocked off home plate. There's Chip Hale. He wants to take a look at it. What a nice throw by Ryan Braun, though. Michael Bourne very fast. But look at this throw. I don't see it. You can block home plate if you have the baseball.
And the throw certainly took him into the
throw. Takes him into the line, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Question is, did the foot sneak through to get the plate?
Maybe.
Close.
Yeah, maybe. That might be one of the other things that they're looking at.
You got to figure out where the tag was applied.
Good angle right here. He might be safe. I mean, that looked like the foot got in there between the legs of Maldonado.
Tag on the arm.
Tag on the arm. There you go.
Yep. So,
yep.
And the Diamondbacks will not challenge. So out at the plate. Inning is over. Another assist for Ryan Braun. Maldonado held his ground. Throw took him right into the running lane, and a collision between he and Bourne. And another outfield assist for Braun as Kurt Neuenhuis leads off this second inning. A foul pop that'll reach the seats.
Yeah, just a very quick release for Braun in the outfield. I mean, throws the baseball. The release from Braun is like he was playing the infield and very accurate. A good hop for Maldonado to be able to field, and everything worked perfectly that time. We were checking Maldonado, right after the inning. Looked like he's limping a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe got spiked.
It's kind of showing Derek Johnson where the injury is. That's helpful for us, right on the inside of the knee. So something to watch here today. Neuenhuis in the 5 spot in the batting order today, playing right field. He's been playing a lot of center field lately. But as Broxton remains in the lineup, Neuenhuis slides over to right. Neuenhuis once hit 3 home runs in a game as a member of the Mets against Arizona. And down he goes on strikes.
They had 3 home runs in that game and ended up with 4 on the season.
That's right. And Neuenhuis has hit 10 this year.
Yeah, that pitch catching the outside corner, but Goswitch wanted it inside. So missed by the entire width of the plate, but got the call.
So 1 away, and here is Keon Broxton, who's got a streak going. He has reached base in his last 7 plate appearances. Last Brewers rookie to reach base in 7 straight plate appearances was Gene Segura, the Diamondbacks second baseman. That was back in 2012 when he was called up in September. That was right after the Brewers acquired him in the Greinke deal. So good company there for Broxton.
Obviously trying to work him inside in this at bat. Everything in on the corner or off the plate. Well, Broxton really covering the outside corner pretty well since he's been called up.
Broxton, with that new hitting style, has really been swinging the bat well. You take a look at his last 11 games since he was called back up from AAA. A .414 batting average. Got a couple of homers in there. Both of those home runs are pinch hit home runs, including one he had here on Friday night.
They get real complicated and try and break down the swing, but what it comes down to is Kean right now using his hands a lot better than he was when he first got called up the first few times with this new batting stance, throwing the barrel of the bat at the baseball as opposed to swinging it, and what he was doing was pulling off, covering the outside corner much better.
Has hits in 6 consecutive at bats, and he lines one foul. He just looks so much more confident, so much more powerful at the plate. The pinch hit home run he hit here on Friday traveled well over 400 feet. It was closer to 420, and it was on a changeup at an exit velocity of 108, which tells you he really is moving it these days with this new swing.
And it's so difficult to be able to make an adjustment that dramatic in the middle of a season, particularly when you're trying to really establish yourself at the major league level. You got to tip your hat to both Darnell Coles and to Broxton for working on that. It's worked for him pretty well.
8th pitch of the at bat results in a walk, and Keon Broxton has now reached base in 8 consecutive plate appearances, and another high pitch at bat for Archie Bradley.
First baseman number
Well, this is something. Broxton's raised his batting average in the last 3 days from 161 to 215.
Yeah. Well, he had a long way to go, and when you have a 5-for-5 game in particular, that's going to shoot that batting average up quickly.
Well, here's Andy Wilkins, his first start at first base on the season. Wilkins actually played more outfield than he did first base at AAA Colorado Springs this year. Comfortable in both spots, but a natural first baseman. Had a double last night in a pinch hit appearance.
And just an opportunity to get Carter off his feet and maybe give him a little bit of a breather here before the Brewers head home. Next off day for the Brewers is next Monday, not tomorrow. Next Monday before the team travels to Wrigley Field. Of course, they just had an off day on Thursday.
Council knows you need them all in a National League setting. You need all your players active and available. And Wilkins gets the start today, and he's got some confidence going. Wilkins had been struggling in the major leagues at the plate, but yesterday comes up and he came in on a double switch. It was his first at bat of the game late, and he was able to drive in a couple of runs. All part of the new look Brewers now after a number of trades this season. Started with Aaron Hill and then Luke Roy, who hit 2 home runs last night for the Rangers, by the way.
He's got 3 already for Texas.
There goes Broxton. Pitch is outside, throw to second, not in time. A one-hopper in there, and Broxton swipes second base, and the Brewers just continue to run wild on their opponents.
Yeah, just so fast, those big long strides, and he covers a lot of ground very quickly. And the Diamondbacks are stalling for time to see if they might get a call here, but they won't. How long those strides are. He's covering a lot of ground. Doesn't look like he is, but there's a long stride eating up some turf.
Stolen base number 10 for Broxton. He's in scoring position for Wilkins. Brewers have 3 lefties in the lineup and a switch hitter today. There's a strike. 1-1 to count. Bradley still has a decent fastball, but it's not the fastball that he had coming up through the Diamondback system when he was 95 plus and was rated as the best fastball in the system and in his league, whatever league he played in coming up through the system. Scouts always deemed him as the best fastball that would play in the major leagues. It had movement.
Fastball looks pretty straight today, and it did back at Miller Park as well. talking 91 to 93, not overpowering by any stretch in this day and age.
Bradley is as the Merle Haggard song goes, an Okie from Muskogee. It's his hometown, Muskogee, Oklahoma. You know that song?
I do.
Attaboy. I knew you would. You've turned a little country on me over the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Little tapper. That's going to be a fair ball, and that's going to be a base hit for Wilkins. A swinging bunt for Andy Wilkins. And a base hit sets up the Brewers in the second inning with runners at the corners.
Well, not the hardest hit ball for Wilkins, but a two-seam fastball off the outside corner. Tried to pull it, but ended up doing well for him. A little squibber down the line and a base hit for him. He'll take it.
Yeah, you bet. Hits in consecutive at-bats. So first and third, the 8th place hitter coming up in Maldonado, and becomes a key at-bat in this game with the pitcher due up next.
That pitch to Wilkins actually a changeup off the outside corner and a little bit out in front. Not a little bit, a lot.
Look at that pitch count for Bradley on the right corner. 46 of them already. 1 out in the second inning. Maldonado takes strike 1.
Diamondbacks have used 11 relievers, 11 different pitching changes already in the first 2 games. So that's the last thing that Chip Hale needs is another short start.
See pitching coach there, Mike Butcher, longtime Angels pitching coach. No balls and a strike, first and third, and Maldonado takes the same fastball right on the inside corner, and it's 0-2. Archie Bradley, 23-year-old right-hander, soon to be 24. And the Diamondbacks hanging a lot of hopes and expectations on this young pitcher. Wilkins takes off. Hit and run was on, or run and hit, better stated. Maldonado fouls it away. Surprise move by Craig Counsell.
Yeah, sneak attack. Nobody figuring Wilkins is going to take off. And Maldonado just protecting the plate on an 0-2 count. Got the Sunday pants on today.
Do it again. Another 0-2. Wilkins starts, then stops, and Maldonado fouls it away. Wilkins does have a stolen base this year, by the way, for the Brewers. His only major league stolen base. Not exactly a speed burner in the minor leagues either. Once had a 7 stolen base season in the minor leagues, Rock. That was his best output. And a swing and a miss. Down goes Maldonado on strikes. That's a big out for Bradley. It gives him a glimpse at the finish line here in the second, because 2 outs with the pitcher coming up now.
And a good curveball. That's a good location with 2 strikes. And down in the dirt. And Maldi swings right through it.
Yeah, you can tell, though, he is working hard early in this game. Brewers have hung a couple of long at-bats on him. VR had a 14-pitch walk. Broxton with an 8-pitch walk just earlier in this inning with 1 out. In the dirt, go switch blocks. And Nelson ahead. Bradley with 2 Ks, 2 walks. And they only hit that infield hit by Wilkins. Brewers pride themselves on a lot of pitches per plate appearance this year. They are among league leaders in that category. And so far, the first batters that he's faced, the first 8, all have resulted in at least 4 pitches per at bat. And there's strike 2 on Nelson.
That's kind of been the way it has been for the Brewers offense. They have been really doing a good job drawing walks, getting on base. The base hits have been, coming rather consistently, but those big hits sometimes are tough to come by. If you have a guy out there that has a difficult time with the strike zone, that's playing right into the Brewers offense.
Nelson, a swing and a miss. Goswitch will secure it at first, and the side is retired. And the Brewers strand a pair. They get a couple of men on base. Another hard-working second inning for Bradley. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business.
Now head out to the ballpark this Sunday as the Brewers close out their series with the Reds. All fans in attendance will get a bobblehead of Craig Counsell either as the Brewers skipper or as a player in his signature batting stance. That's all courtesy of Clemens Sausage. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com.
Counsell still a fan favorite here in the Phoenix area on that World Series title team 2001. One of his 2 World Series rings that he holds. And that was the team. The Bob Brindley Arizona Diamondbacks. Our buddy BB is over there on Diamondbacks television. Always good to catch up with Bob. Spewing knowledge as we speak.
Yeah, good guy. He's done just about everything in baseball. Manager, won a World Series. How many people can say that?
Yeah, right. And just like you, he reads promos very well nowadays. Yasmani Tomas will lead off. Good fastball in there for a strike by Jimmy Nelson to start the inning. Tomas hit 2 solo home runs on Friday. Diamondbacks won in 11 innings on Friday night. 3-2 victory. And then the Brewers answered with a 15-6 win last night. Right off the end of the bat. Nelson's got it. Fires to first in time. Tomas retired. Now the Quicken Loans Rocket Arms for today's game shows the strikeout leaders for both teams. Jimmy Nelson with 97 Ks leads the crew. Robbie Ray has 152 strikeouts for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But this Diamondback starting rotation, their names dot the second page of the statistical leaders in the National League. That's not the page you want to be on.
Yeah, some of the bad statistics, if you will. Hits allowed, runs allowed, walks, those types of things. And Kind of tells you the story about their season.
Ricky Weeks Jr. added the junior, requested that everybody refer to him as Junior. Ricky had a young son and wants to keep that family legacy alive, so that's something new this year. Good to see Ricky, and he's back on a big league ball club. His career is certainly coming to an end, hoping to prolong it as long as he can. Gave the Brewers some great years.
I respected Ricky a lot. I mean, he went through a lot, you know, with the Brewers, particularly early in his career. But tough as nails, both physically and mentally.
We used to call him the Prince Whisperer when he was in Milwaukee. He was about the only guy that could have the ear of Prince Fielder, and he did a good job through those years. Bouncing ball to second. Jeanette makes a play on Weeks, and I don't mean all the bad stuff, but you know, when Prince was going well, Ricky was the guy who could get him back centered. When Prince was struggling, he was the guy that could pump him up a little bit. He always knew the right place. They'd known each other since they were in junior high, and Ricky was always a great match for Prince Fielder.
And when Ricky lost his job his last year in Milwaukee, I mean, he did it quietly. He sat on the bench. He didn't get a lot of playing time. Would run up there as a pinch hitter from time to time, but never complained, not once. You know he wanted to play every day, but did not. Handled it well.
2 gone in the inning. Chris Owings, the Diamondbacks shortstop now. Good sign early for Jimmy Nelson. The ground ball outs are coming. Of the 5 outs recorded thus far, 4 of them are ground outs. That other out was a play at the plate with Braun throwing out a runner trying to score in Michael Bourne. That's how the first inning ended. And Braun adding to his assist totals, now has 10 for the season.
You know, a young Michael Bourne, that wouldn't be close at home plate.
Good point.
And lost a few steps, what you would expect as you get a little bit older.
Braun's up there among league leaders in outfield assists. Takes an infielder's throwing approach to the outfield game. 2-2 to Owings. And a shot back up the middle and a base hit. That one hung up there, and Owings made him pay. Second hit of the ball game for the Diamondbacks. Both are singles.
And both of these pitchers today throw knuckle curveballs. You know, the spike curveball, whatever you want to call it, that one hung up for Owings and hit it hard right back through the box.
That snaps an 0 for 13 run at the plate for Owings. And it's a 2-out base hit. Now to bring up Tuffy Goswitch. Goswitch gets the Sunday start today. Wellington Castillo has started the first 2 games. Whoa, look out. Buzzed the tower with that big fastball.
Yeah, just making sure he's not leaning out over that plate, right? And they got the pitcher on deck.
There's Bradley due to hit next. And if you're Jimmy Nelson, you want to get greedy here. Try to get the out at the plate. You'll have the pitcher leading off next inning. Snap throw to first. Close play, but back in time is Owings. Pitch was called a strike.
I guess that knee for Maldonado's okay. Look how quick his feet are here. No real sign of any problem with that knee on that play at the plate.
Just got back. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Diamondbacks catcher. And another check on Owings. I remember former Brewer pitching coach Rick Kranitz, who is now the bullpen coach with the Phillies. He had a theory, and I like it a lot. It's something that he put in play with his rotation. But every pitcher who started a ball game, and he kept these numbers, it was the game within the game. You try to have the pitcher bat in the 3rd inning, right? So that was a high point total if you could get through the first 2 innings without the opposing pitcher batting. And Nelson's going to accomplish that goal here. Always helps when a pitcher is leading off in the 3rd inning, and that's exactly where Nelson is. He's got 2 scoreless on the board. 1-0 Brewers. Jonathan Villar stays hot, had a walk, a steal, and he scored a run his first time up. He'll lead off when we come back.
Brewers here in the series finale at Chase Field as we head to the 3rd. Jonathan Villar leading off this inning, and one thing that Craig Counsell says he does so well in that leadoff spot is just extending at bats, and you see what he's done over his last 5 games. 10 hits for him. He already drew a walk and stole a base in the 1st, but Counsell said with extending at bats, it's not just about drawing a walk, but what it does is it obviously gets you on base. You have the opportunity to see more pitches and maybe get a hit. So he said getting those deep counts like he did in his first at bat. He fouled off 7 straight pitches before drawing a walk on that 14th pitch. His strike zone recognition and working with 2 strikes is what makes him such a tough at bat.
He has really established himself as not just a legitimate threat at the plate, but a leadoff threat at the plate with some power. Villar does have 8 home runs this year, and he is among league leaders in doubles this season. He's 6th in the National League with 28 doubles as well. So he's not just your old-fashioned punch and Judy leadoff hitter. Right. He brings some thunder to that leadoff spot, and he hits that one hard into left center field. Bourne will turn and watch, and that one is gone. A home run for Villar. Right on cue. Villar goes deep opposite field. His 9th home run of the season, and the Brewers lead 2-0.
Not a punch and Judy, is he? That's pretty good work by you. You know, back in the old days, leadoff hitter was supposed to be a guy that can run, which he can do, take pitches, which he does. You know, works the count, not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. And here's that curveball right here, down the middle, up a little bit. And look how easy the swing is for Villar. Just nice and easy to the baseball. The ball just jumps off his bat and knocks it out of here at that 413 sign. Wow.
They measured that one at 422.
Kind of easy the swing is. Powerball home run count for Jonathan. Number 9 on the year.
Man. Now Arcia takes a big hack. I'll tell you, these 2 at-bats for Villar, if he ever gets himself in a slump, you can put these on tape and play him back. A 14-pitch walk in the 1st. stole a base, scored a run on a wild pitch, and then it's a 422-foot home run here in the third.
Yeah, that position change has really got him shaken up, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah, he's now looking like the third baseman of the future for the Brew Crew.
A lot of times, you make a position change like he has, and you spend a lot of time thinking about defense. Your offense struggles, but not with VR. He's been as good, if not better, as playing third base at the plate.
Orlando Arcia, the Brewers' top prospect, just called up earlier this week in San Diego, and I know fans in Milwaukee are very much looking forward to getting their eyes in person on Arcia at Miller Park tomorrow. 2-2. Arcia on the ground to short. Owings. And there is the first out. It's only been a few games here, but you start to let your mind wander to next season and seasons to come with Arcia and perhaps VR on the left side of the infield, and even the rest of this season. There's a lot of hope, a lot of excitement about what these two bring to the table every day.
Yeah, particularly Orlando Arcia. I mean, he is everything that everybody said he was going to be when he gets to the big leagues. I mean, defense outstanding. It's going to take him a while to adjust offensively. It's not that easy up here. But he has all the tools. I mean, patience at the plate. He goes to right field, and he's got a lot of confidence in himself, which is the most important thing.
Ryan Braun now with one away. Braun flew out to center his first at bat. He's 0 for 1. Has already made an impact on this game with his defense, though. Gunned down a runner trying to score in the bottom of the first. He threw out Bourne at the plate to end the inning. 2-0 Brewers in the third. No Brewer had ever had back-to-back 3-run home runs in consecutive innings until yesterday when Braun did it in the 6th and the 7th. And he's had some big games in his career. He had a game in San Diego a few years back where he had 3 home runs, had 15 total bases, 3 home runs and a triple in that game. Had a 7 RBI game with 3 home runs in Philadelphia last year, but that goes up there with one of his greatest games as a Brewer last night as he bounces to Goldschmidt, and Braun is retired for the second out. Here comes Scooter Gennett.
Second baseman, Scooter Gennett.
Gennett bounced to short his first time up. Now 2 for 11 in the series. Scooter's having a decent road trip. Has 7 hits, a couple of RBIs.
Yeah, Scooter finds himself in that lineup every day, not just because he's been swinging the bat so well. I mean, there's 2 sides of the game for Craig Counsell as a manager, offense and defense, and he feels as though the biggest improvement that Scooter has made this year is his defense.
And Gennett specifically has been great on the pop-ups, the over-the-shoulder catches. Those can be tough. And Counsell's got him hitting cleanup today. It's interesting that there's a connection with the cleanup spot and the second baseman. The Brewers haven't had many do that, but the last one to do it is out in left field for the Diamondbacks. Ricky Weeks was the last hit cleanup as a Brewer, as a second baseman. That was back in 2013. Bill Hall had a couple of spots in the lineup as a second baseman. Hall was playing all over the infield and outfield back in those days.
And Bill Hall lives in Arizona here. He lives in Phoenix. I'm surprised he hasn't come by.
I'd love to see him again. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yep.
2-2 to Gennett, and he takes a ball. The second baseman in Brewers history who has hit cleanup the most is our old friend Don Money, my old fantasy camp manager. He did it 18 times in 1977. Jeanette in the air to right to Tomas, and that will end the inning. But the inning begins with Jonathan Villar going opposite field on a curveball. Gives the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Villar with his 9th of the year. Stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. 2-0 Brewers as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Jimmy Nelson back at work. I tell you, Rock, this guy right here, he looks just like you. Your doppelganger.
Is that right? Well, he is a handsome man. I mean,
look how small his visor looks on his head.
I knew there was an insult there somewhere. I just was waiting for it.
I do believe he was upstairs taking pictures earlier.
Yeah.
Swinging a foul.
That is Mike Vasallo. Now, you got to pay attention here. Mike Vasallo's brother with the Brewers hat.
Oh, okay.
His girlfriend to his left.
Got that.
And that's his girlfriend's father right there.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah, so Mike came up and said, I have a guy that not only looks like you, but talks like you, and he's from the East Coast.
I thought that was him.
I mean, it's flattering knowing how much time Mike Vasallo spends thinking about me. In all honesty, I mean, that's pretty
strikeout
impressive.
To Bradley to start the inning. Honestly, I don't think he really looks like you at all. I can see a little resemblance. You guys could be brothers.
He's a big dude. He kind of talks a little bit like me.
Yeah,
I mean,
he does.
The voice and that East Coast thing going on, but that was fun before the game.
I don't think I'm all in on the visor, though.
See, now you didn't say that to him. You know, the guy's about 6'5".
I don't know him well enough. He's a big guy.
Well, he's 6'5", and I think you were really nice to him, and I think you actually complimented the visor.
It's like a lawn chair on a cruise ship. One ball, one strike on Segura.
Well, you got to occupy your time, you know, on a Sunday, on the road, no batting practice, you know, nothing going on. You got to occupy your time somehow up here.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to be up here reading and preparing.
No, it's Sunday. I had some good fun with him before the game today. A lot of Brewers fans are in the ballpark. Segura lines one to center, base hit. Hits it sharply to center field. The Diamondbacks have a hit in each of the first 3 innings, but they are all singles. And Nelson has been able to get out of the first 2 innings.
Man, good speed on first base. You know, Segura is going to try and steal a base. This is a good matchup right here with Maldonado behind home plate. Just a matter of whether Jimmy Nelson is going to give Martin an opportunity to throw him out if he takes off.
2-0 Brewers. VR has scored both runs. Manufactured one on the first. Had a walk, a steal, scored on a wild pitch, and then VR homered in the top of this inning. His 9th home run of the year, RBI number 41. That stolen base he had in the first was his 42nd, so very productive from the leadoff spot today for VR. And Nelson working on the shutout. Bourne was thrown out at the plate trying to score in the first inning on a base hit by Lamb. Jimmy falling behind 2-0. And in there for a strike. It's hard to believe how much Bourne has bounced around in his career. First came up with the Phillies. And then he was traded to Houston. Astros thought they had their center fielder for a long time when Bourne arrived to Houston.
Yeah, especially with that big outfield at Minute Maid Park.
That was
guy at one time could fly.
It was a big trade, remember. That was the Brad Lidge deal. There goes Segura, swing and a miss from his knees. Maldonado off the mark. Segura got a great jump. And a stolen base for the Diamondbacks leadoff man.
And Jimmy can be rather slow to home plate. Big guy just unwinded it. You see the high leg kick, and Maldonado really no chance. Even that ball's right on the money. Maybe a perfect throw might be close. The second time we've seen Maldonado on this trip throw from his knees like that.
So runner at second with one out. Nelson wants to start over with the signals. Bourne has played for the Phillies, the Astros, the Indians, Braves, Blue Jays, and now the Diamondbacks. And down he goes. A swing and a miss. A strikeout for Nelson. His second of the inning, his second of the game. And 2 outs in the frame now.
Well, fastball right by him. It's supposed to be inside. Watch where it ends up. Yeah, Fox Tracks has it up and in, but it looked like down the middle to me. Swings right through it. Look at the expression on his face. I had one to hit and missed it.
Well, dangerous hitter coming up. Paul Goldschmidt, who bounced to short his first time up. And Nelson misses with a fastball. One of the great first baseman, hitter slash defender in the major leagues, Paul Goldschmidt. He's got a couple of Gold Glove awards. A first baseman that can run. Had over 20 steals last year. It's interesting. You don't really see first basemen that have the 20 stolen base seasons, right? But the Brewers have had back-to-back series with first basemen who can claim a 20 stolen base season. Will Myers stole his 20th against Milwaukee last week in that series against the Padres.
A rare combination, right? Speed and power, good defense.
Goldschmidt could get there this year as well. He has 14 bags at this point.
Yeah, a lot of times your franchise player, you really don't want him running a whole lot, particularly, you know, when he hits home runs like he does. I mean, you risk injury when you run a lot and, you know, stealing bases. Their best season was 2013, 36 home runs, 125 RBIs.
Led the National League in both categories that year. Maldonado trying to keep Segura honest.
Is that low?
Maldonado telling his bench it was a little bit away maybe. That's an interesting sidebar in a lot of games where the bench will ask the catcher.
That wasn't away, Martine. I hate to tell you. I didn't think it was low either.
Because you know what comes after that is stop taking strikes away, Martine. Stand there and catch the ball, not trying to throw a runner out.
I mean, number 4 is not even close to being away.
I'm with you, man.
I thought I was seeing things. I'm sorry.
Games passed you by, Rock.
That's what I said. Is that low? It wasn't low. It certainly wasn't away.
Good pitch. Well, now Maldonado's got some splaining to do when he goes back to the dugout.
I'm going to ask him.
Full count to Goldschmidt. And a swing and a foul out of play. You mentioned that year, 2013, Rock. It is hard to convince Diamondbacks fans that Goldschmidt was not the MVP that season. That was the year Andrew McCutchen won the MVP. Now McCutchen, if you go by the WAR statistic, had a better year, wins above replacement. But across the board, the numbers jumped off the page for Goldschmidt. He led the league in homers, RBIs, slugging, OPS, total bases, and won a Gold Glove.
Yeah. What else is there to do, right?
Finished second in the MVP voting, and Goldschmidt draws the walk. So now 2 men are on, and Nelson will deal with Jake Lamb. Quick trip to the mound for Maldonado. Lamb's last time up thought he had a base hit that would produce a run, but Ryan Braun had other ideas. It was a hard hit ball that gave Braun a great chance to throw the runner out, and he fired a strike to Maldonado to get Bourne at the plate. That's how the first inning ended. Assist number 10 for Ryan Braun, now third in the league in that category behind Marte of the Pirates. You got Inciarte of the Braves.
Yeah, success throwing out runners is as much to do with his quick release as it is his arm strength and accuracy. All three of those things combined is why he's a good thrower. And that release is very similar to what you see from Aaron Perez out in right field. An infielder's release, but he's got the carry to be able to play outfield.
Good hitter at the plate. Good young hitter, Jake Lamb. No balls, 2 strikes. Coming into play today, Lamb leads the league in triples, top 10 in homers, second in the league in slugging percentage. His slugging is at .585. And he's in the top 5 in extra base hits as well. He's the kind of bat they're looking for to hit behind Goldschmidt, providing some protection for a perennial MVP candidate in Goldschmidt. Pickoff play. Oh, had a chance. Throws into center. And both runners are going to advance. I'll tell you, a good throw. They've got a great chance to get it out.
And it took Broxton a while to throw it into second base. Not sure if anybody was there or not. But Goldschmidt hesitated, but still was able to get into second, relatively uncontested. Good throw might get him here, but check it out. I mean, nobody at second base. Broxton really doesn't have anybody to throw it to, and Goldschmidt able to get into second base. That's a big base right there.
Heads up base running by Goldschmidt. E1. Now the Brewers lead 2-0. A base hit here could tie it. 0-2 the count on Lamb. And he got him. Strikes him out with a fastball. Inside corner. Nelson strikes out the side around a single and a walk. Picks up his third strikeout of the game, all coming in the third inning. And that power sinker on the inside corner. And he keeps the shutout alive. To the top of the fourth inning. Brewers getting a home run from VR. And our Carsoup.com trivia today. Who are the 4 MLB players to hit a World Series home run in 3 different decades? Carsoup.com trivia. World Series home run in 3 different decades. That's impressive to be in a World Series.
Right.
3 different decades. Good question. Kirk Neuenhuis leads off for Milwaukee. We play in the 4th inning. 2-0 Brew Crew.
I mean, that could be as little as 12 years apart, right?
Could be.
89, 90, 2000.
You got to be on a lot of winning teams.
Right.
That's for sure. So it figures there may be a Yankee or 2 in there with all their dominance. '50s and '60s and then on into the late '90s. Good question today. Neuenhuis takes one inside for a ball. 2-2 the count on Kurt. Here's a guy who's always excited to play ball in Miller Park. He can't wait for this road trip to end. Can't wait for any road trip to end. For whatever reason, Neuenhuis has great numbers at Miller Park. Not so great on the road. It's hard to figure. Just the opposite of Yasmani Tomas of the Diamondbacks. Neuenhuis at Miller Park is hitting .304 this year. 9 of his 10 homers. and 24 runs batted in. And then look at his road stats.
I wish there was something that you could say about that. I mean, that's one of those where you just look at it and say, oh, well.
And a swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Second time he struck out today. Bradley has 4 now. And he's got his first man out in the 4th inning. Well, Keon Broxton now with 1 away. Last night, if you weren't with us, the Brewers won 15-6, and we had to go to the record books last night. Season highs for runs and hits for the team. VR had a career high for hits. Braun tied a franchise record for RBIs in a game. Arcia, the 3rd rookie to score 4 runs. And then there is Broxton with 5 hits.
Some
Reached
guys
base
go
6 times.
Some guys can play a 15-year career and never have a 5-hit game. He did it in his 40th game.
Broxton walked his first time up, so he has reached base in 8 consecutive plate appearances. The last Brewer rookie to do that was Ronnie Belliard in '99. Oh, look out, that might have hit him. Nope, foul ball. 0-2 the count. Broxton becomes the fastest rookie with 5 hits. As Rock mentioned, 47 games. It had been 77. Mike Felder in 1987. A swing and a miss. He goes, and a strikeout for Broxton. First time he's been retired since San Diego. And it's back-to-back Ks for Archie Bradley here in the 4th inning.
It's that good curveball. And the only real mistake he's made with a curveball is that home run to VR. He's had a few strikeouts on that pitch.
Andy Wilkins now with 2 away. And an infield hit, his first time up, and a big swing and a miss. I don't know if somebody talked to Bradley between innings or if the fact that he's maybe feeling good about his location now, but he's working with a lot quicker pace, throwing the ball well in this 4th inning.
A change up there. Yeah, most pitchers will slow down a little bit with men on base. I mean, that's just natural, but he has quickened it up even out of the windup. He's retired 5 straight. That'll do it.
Yeah, with a couple of strikeouts. Has 5 for the game. There's a called strike. 3-2 now. Good pitch to get back in the count. I think there has to be some emphasis with these managers and these coaches for both teams on the pace in which these players are playing in the last 2 games. There's a swing and a miss. Bradley strikes out the side. And the first 1-2-3 inning for Diamondbacks pitching since the 11th inning on Friday night.
T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball. And yesterday it was a painful day at the plate for Hunter Pence, the outfielder for the Giants. Fouled a foul ball off his face yesterday in the second inning, so bad you could even see the the seams of the baseball on his face, and that's coming off of him returning from the disabled list at the end of July. And it was a big day for Manny Machado earlier this afternoon. 3 home runs for him, all of them coming in the first 3 innings. He would finish with 7 RBIs, and Alex Rodriguez, he will be released at the end of the week. Will join the Yankees as a special advisor. That was all in a very emotional press conference just this morning in New York.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Yeah, that was big news. The Yankees have had 2 players announce their retirement. Mark Teixeira earlier in the week announced that he would retire at season's end, and Alex Rodriguez is going to take it till the end of the week.
4 home runs shy of 700 home runs. Interesting.
Well, maybe he'll try to hit 4 this week in the next few days.
That's something to stick around for, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, for sure. If he's got it in him. Yasmani Tomas leads off, and he'll dump one into left center for a base hit. Another single for Arizona.
Never met a fastball he didn't like.
Diamondbacks have a single hit in the first 4 innings. They have all been singles as well.
It doesn't even have to be a strike for this guy. He has been very aggressive with the fastball. Gets eaten up inside, but strong enough to dump it into center field.
And that'll bring up Ricky Weeks Jr. Ricky was always a team player in Milwaukee, always a great teammate, one of the tough guys. But there was one thing that he stood his ground on with the Brewers coaching staff and front office, and that was playing the outfield as he gets drilled by Jimmy Nelson.
That's something that did happen to him a lot in Milwaukee as well, getting hit.
And Nelson with 2 on to start this 4th inning. But I'm sure you've noticed, if you're a longtime Brewer fan, that Weeks is in the lineup as the left fielder, and he's been playing a lot of outfield for the Diamondbacks this year.
Yep, and he said he would not play the outfield his last year in Milwaukee. That kind of surprised everybody.
Yeah, because it felt like there was some playing time for Weeks in the outfield, but he feels like he's an infielder. He was uncomfortable going there, and to his credit, felt like he needed an offseason and a spring training to prepare to be an outfielder, and that's what he did last year. And as he signed with the Mariners, there was certainly outfield in the discussion, and certainly here with the Diamondbacks. Once the Mariners signed Robinson Cano, there was going to be no second base spots available in Seattle. Villar is in, expecting a bunt perhaps. Owings is up there with 2 on and nobody out, and that may have hit him. I think it did. That hits him in the elbow, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Oh, and this inning is turning into a mess for Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, jam shot into center field and a couple of hit batters, and it looks like Pat Murphy wants to get that bullpen busy. Or maybe call him back to the replay crew, but that ball clearly hit him in the forearm. Jimmy not a stranger to hitting batters. That's the 12th and 13th batter that he's hit this year.
Catcher, Tuffy Gosowich.
Well, if you're Derek Johnson, the message is pretty clear here. There is a way out of this inning, but it starts with the batter at the plate, the 8th place hitter in Tuffy Gosowich. Got the pitcher due up next. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Brewers lead 2-0, but Nelson in all kind of trouble now.
And that really is the one thing we've seen out of this Brewers rotation in the last 6 weeks or so, establishing inside. Jimmy Got a little bit too far in those last couple of hitters. Pitching inside, tough thing to do.
Go switch, pops this one up, foul territory. VR's going to give it a look. It's coming back, and VR makes the catch. Runner tags.
Well, you can't throw it out. You can't throw it from the dugout.
So the play is dead. Umpires call a dead ball. Otherwise, the runners were racing around the bags. A run's going to score on a sacrifice. We saw this in Chicago last year with Anthony Rizzo. You cannot throw a ball from the stands. You have to be in the field of play.
You get a base, and the base was that everybody advances once. Once you go into the dugout, you have to reestablish getting into the field of play before you throw. What a heck of a play by VR, taking out some fans. Can't throw from the dugout, but run would have scored anyway.
Now, once you're in the stands, it's a dead ball. My question on, we had the same thing come up with Rizzo, but let's say VR tries to flip it to Arcia.
Can't
That's
do that
still
either.
considered a throw, right?
Yeah, can't do that either.
You have to yourself reestablish.
Right.
So that'll be a sacrifice fly. And it's 2-1 now. And now Bradley bunts, runner coming home. And a bad throw by Wilkins. He had nothing there. And Bradley's going to go all the way to second base. That is just a mistake by the Brewer first baseman. Had no chance in an out.
And then he threw it too hard to Maldonado. Good thing it wasn't at his face, because there's no way, as close as he was, that Maldonado was able to catch it. The squeeze is on, and that's just a run. You get the out at first base, and Maldonado, no chance to get it. But no runners are able to advance. Actually, yeah, the runner goes to second base, so it's going to be an error. A sacrifice RBI for Bradley, fielder's choice, and an E3. Brewers errors are starting to rack up in the last couple of days.
Yeah, Brewers have 5 errors in the last 2 games. And now the game tied at 2, still just 1 out, second and third for the top of the order. Segura, little tapper to the mound. Nelson looks the runner back and throws poorly, and that's going to bring in 1, maybe 2. Well, you could see that coming. Nelson has had a hard time throwing the bases lately. And another error allows the 3rd run to score for the Diamondbacks. Man, oh man.
Yeah, I'm just not quite sure what to say about all this. I mean, this is about as easy as it gets. I mean, he takes the crow hop and just airmails it over the head of Wilkins. A run in, another error on Jimmy Nelson. So 3 errors now on the Brewers. They committed 3 last night. And just no reason for that.
Well, Nelson has had his throwing problems. He threw 1 away in the 3rd inning. Brewers have 9 errors in the last 4 games. And a lot of them are coming from the mound here recently. A little concerning about Nelson throwing the bases. He's not quite into Matt Garza territory, but there's something there mentally that.
He did everything right. He took the crow hop. I mean, he's stepping through, but just try to throw it too hard. And airmailed it. Don't have to do that.
3 runs are in. The Diamondbacks lead.
Crazy inning. I mean, it led off with a jam shot, 2 hit batters, a sacrifice fly to the 3rd baseman, fell into the dugout, and then a couple of errors. Just a crazy inning.
Diamondbacks have 1 hit in this inning. And 3 runs are in, and it's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Close out at 3rd. Boy, Maldonado steals an out, cutting down the pitcher.
Yep, just trying to get a little bit too much. Chip Hale wants to take a look at it, as all managers do on any kind of a close play. Just a great throw by Maldonado and a good tag by VR. And it looks like he's out.
Oh, what a bullet. Yeah, clearly out. Good shot.
That's how you get your pitcher out of a jam.
Two gone now. Runner at second for Bourne. Well, think about the risk that is involved with that throw by Maldonado. The Brewers have already committed 3 errors.
He's fearless when he throws.
And that was a perfect strike to third base.
Yeah, a lot of catchers a little timid in making that throw, thinking that they're going to hit the runner, but he knew that Bradley was going to have to get down and slide, and that cleared the path for him to make the throw to VR.
Two balls and a strike. Bourne, bouncer over to second. Jeanette. And the side is retired. Could have been a whole lot better. Could have been a whole lot worse. Diamondbacks end up with 3, and they now lead 3-2. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Downtown Phoenix Chase Field on a hot Sunday afternoon. The Diamondbacks now lead 3-2. And don't miss an all-new episode of Garbage Time with Emmy-winning Katie Nolan. Wednesday, 11 p.m. Central. It's only on FS1. Pretty good summary for the bottom of the 4th. A little garbage time for the Brewers. 3 errors and 3 runs come in to score. Maldonado helped the inning along, though, in a big way. Cut down a base runner at third base. And the Brewers survive with just 3 runs. So it's a brand new ball game now. We go to the 5th. Maldonado, the pitcher spot, Nelson, and then we go to the top of the order in VR. Maldonado was noticeably limping off the field. That collision in the first inning with Bourne had the athletic trainer check out his knee. And he's sticking it out, but he does not appear to be moving all that well right now.
Not running all that well, but that's not his strong suit. But that certainly doesn't really show up when he's throwing the baseball.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bradley struck out the side in the 4th inning and has now retired 6 straight since the VR homer that started the 3rd. Missed inside. This was the play at the plate in the 1st, and check out.
And right there is Bourne knee to knee on Maldonado. Just kind of hobbling off, but certainly hasn't affected the way he's been throwing the baseball.
We noticed after the last out of last inning, Maldonado running off the field, and you could tell he was noticeably limping. Remember, he got hit in the knee. That same knee, the left knee, got hit by a pitch earlier in the series. So the knees are taking a beating, as they typically do at catchers.
Yeah, the hit batter was on the outside of the knee, and that the injury on the collision the inside of the knee.
Two the count. Maldonado takes a called strike 3, and Bradley with 4 consecutive strikeouts now and has 7 for the game.
You saw him do this back at Miller Park. I mean, he had a very good start against the Brewers at Miller Park.
Pitcher, Jimmy Nelson.
Well, that only 1 run in 6 innings in a victory. He's got good stuff. Actually, 1 run in 7 innings of work, only 4 hits allowed in an 8-1 victory. The only game the Diamondbacks won in that series, a 4-game series.
Meanwhile, his mound opponent, Jimmy Nelson, has had back-to-back rough starts. His start against Arizona, he only gave up 2 earned runs, but he gave up 8 runs total in 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 8 hits and a couple of walks in that game. And then he took a loss against the Padres his last time out. 6 earned runs in 4 innings. One of his worst starts of the season last time out. He just doesn't look like himself.
Well, velocity's down for him. That's the one thing you notice right away. I mean, his cruising speed made 94, 95. Right now, it's about 92, 93. That's a big difference. It really is.
Certainly the alarms are sounding. And there's got to be a lot of concern with the way he's throwing the bases right now. When you throw a few away, that sticks with you, and
start thinking about it.
Some guys don't recover, as we've seen with Matt Garza, John Lester. Bradley pitching in this 5th inning, but over 100 pitches. There's a called strike 3, 5 strikeouts in a row for Bradley. That's his 8th of the game. And all 8 strikeouts are coming to the last 5 hitters in the Brewers batting order. Back to the top of the order now, and VR see his day at the plate, presented by Wendy's. 3rd inning. Got a breaking ball from Bradley, and he did not miss it. Opposite field home run for VR, his 9th of the season.
And right after you said he's not a punch and Judy. Well timed.
Brings a little power to that leadoff spot.
Yeah, the one thing the Brewers can hang their hats on here, as well as Bradley's throwing. Look at the pitch count, 105. This might be his last inning.
2 pitchers in the Diamondbacks bullpen preparing for this game.
Pushing 110 pitches through 5 innings is it. That's a lot.
You get a couple of men on base, and next thing you know, you can get into that bullpen early. Hudson and Hathaway are the pitchers down there. Hathaway's the lefty. VR started this game with a 14-pitch walk. That has led to the high pitch count. Last Brewer to start a game with a 14-pitch at bat was Scott Posednik back in '03. Late September of '03. His name's been in the notes a few times here lately.
That's an amazing stat. I mean, where do you come up with something like that?
That's our man Russell coming up with that one.
Last 14 pitch at bat to start a game?
Well, 14 pitch at bats are pretty rare.
Well, I know, but
that's where you start.
Where do you start looking that up? Where do you begin?
Just go box score by box score. Oh, there's a great site. Our Stats Inc. folks help us out, and you put in the numbers, and it all spits it right out for you, Rob.
Sure, right.
Down and in the count, 3-2.
That's impressive, though.
You know, all the things that you know because you were a player, we can't provide that kind of information. Only you can, as a former big leaguer. So We have to go to alternate means. We got to crack the books. And then, as far as I'm concerned, I just read the card.
Right. Somebody hands it to you.
3-2 is high and away for ball 4, and VR on base for the 3rd time. Boy, he is just impressive here lately. That on base percentage is rising quickly, and Chip Hale was going to give him one batter.
He's been on 12 times in this series. Jonathan VR, 12.
And he's a good bet to try to steal a base here. Hale hasn't called to the bullpen yet.
Well, if he doesn't, it's going to be the last hitter for him here, with Ryan Braun on deck.
Most he's thrown in the game is 112. And he's going to let him ride it out, see if he can get him through 5 innings, which is a struggle these days. Very high pitch counts in every inning. That 30 pitch first inning, 14 of those from VR. And the Brewers scored in that inning, scored in the 3rd. And now the tying run is on for Arcia with 2 outs. Orlando Arcia is 0 for 2. He's got a couple of ground outs today. It happens this way for a lot of teams, but especially for the Diamondbacks, I've noticed in the series. They get a man on base as VR takes off. Throw to second is high and into center. And now VR is up and on his way to 3rd. A stolen base and an error. And we're reaching some new depths with this game here today, but the Brewers have a chance to tie this one up with a base hit.
Oh boy. That ball sailing, and Ghost was trying to be a little bit too quick. Ball slips out of the hand, and VR into 3rd base. Well, you can see Bradley asking home plate, was that a strike? After all that's going on, guys running around the bases asking if it's a strike.
So let's see if Arcia can pick him up. I'm with you, man. I thought we crossed a new threshold yesterday with the grounds repair on the pitcher's mound yesterday.
And 9th inning. Yep.
Well, you figure Bradley's got one more hitter. Arcia trying to make him pay. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Well, I'm sure both organizations would be quick to remind us all that there will be better days.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to rebuild, put the pieces together, but the game does not look pretty right now.
Now check out the pitcher, Bradley. I mean, it's going to be a stolen base. Now keep your eye on the pitcher. He's asking the home plate umpire with the strike. He says no as VR is racing around the bases.
It's a strike, right? Well, he knows it's his last hitter, so you can't blame him, right? I'm surprised he got an answer. That's up the middle and a base hit for Arcia. In to score VR. And the kid delivers. All tied at 3. What a beautiful piece of hitting there. A 2-out RBI single. VR's legs pay off once again, and that's going to be the end of the line for Archie Bradley.
Kid can hit on a 1-2 pitch. Got one up and away, and able to keep the bat in the hitting zone long enough. Just out of the reach of Segura, and a tie game again. There you go.
Bradley is out. Cannot get through 5. Game is all tied. A costly error. And we'll have a pitching change for Ryan Braun coming up. Bottom of the fourth with a couple of errors, and then an error helps him tie this one up. Arcia with a 2-out single with 2 outs, and that means the end for Archie Bradley. With Braun coming up, Rock, it's going to be Daniel Hudson.
Yeah, we saw Hudson in game 1 of the series, a scoreless inning. Gave up a hit, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts. It's been a tough year for him. 47 appearances now and a 7.03 earned run average. Having a difficult time with location this year.
Well, the Diamondbacks bullpen, you can see why Hale was so hesitant to go to his pen. An 11.4 ERA in the last 4 games. And remember the win they had on Friday night against the Brewers. They had a good stretch at the end of the game. 5 innings without allowing a run.
You take those 5 innings out, what's the earned run average,
Yeah,
right?
I'm telling you, this has not been pretty.
All or nothing.
Now Braun has a chance here to give the Brewers the lead. Ryan hit 2 homers last night. He has 4 home runs in the last 4 games.
Hudson was throwing hard in the first game of the series on Friday night, 96 miles an hour. So it's not the velocity that's giving him problems. It's locating the slider and getting too much of the plate with that fastball.
Coming back from a second Tommy John surgery, he was going along pretty well. His first 30 games, he had only allowed 5 earned runs, but he's hit the wall here lately. Last 16 games, he's allowed 26 earned runs. Arcia at first.
You got a pretty good sized lead over there at first base, but you won't be taking any chances with Braun at the plate.
No balls and a strike on Braun. 0 for 2 today. And misses inside. 1-1 now. Ryan comes in with 18 home runs on the season. Drove in 7 last night to give him 56 for the year. Chris Carter is still the club leader in homers and RBIs with 25 and 61. Carter with the day off today. Wow, nice pick by Goswitch. Close play at first. Arcia just back. That was a pretty good play by the Diamondbacks catcher. Otherwise, Arcia is standing at second base.
He's got good hands back there, and you can see, seeing that the ball's in the dirt, you figure Arcia might want to get another step, and almost got picked off. That was a good play by Tuffy Goswitch. Almost ended the inning with Braun at the plate. That's a no-no. You don't want to get picked off.
2 outs. Brewers have tied it on an Arcia single. Ryan Braun, and now Hudson checks on Arcia. Orlando has been a stolen base threat throughout his minor league career in the Brewers system. Had 15 stolen bases at AAA this year. Inside again. 2 balls and a strike, make it 3-1 on Braun. Braun's home runs in this stretch have all come to center field and right field. That's when you know he's dialed in. There goes Arcia. He stops, and there's a strike. Started, then stopped, and Braun takes strike 2. And now Arcia will take off.
And you know he's dialed in when you see that bat. Look at that bat. I mean, he's used that thing for a while now, which means hasn't really gotten jammed a whole lot. You know, pine tar all caked all over it. He's probably used that bat the entire road trip.
There goes Arcia. Braun chops one. Be a tough play. Owings gloves, throws, and he just does get Braun to end the inning. But the Brewers tie it up, and the rookie delivers again. His first major league hit tied the game on Friday. This one ties the game at 3.
The Brewers and the Diamondbacks all tied up at 3, and this Wednesday, August 10th, fans can bring new or gently used tools to Miller Park to receive a free ticket to that night's game against the Atlanta Braves. That's courtesy of Associated Bank. There will be 2 donation locations, one near the Associated check-in gate near the pedestrian bridge and one near the home plate gate. You have until 4:30 to 7 to make your donations, and you can go to brewers.com/tools for more information.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Here we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Paul Goldschmidt will lead off for Arizona. All tied at 3 now. Brewers led 2-0. And then the Diamondbacks scored 3 runs last inning. There were 2 costly errors in that inning, and Jimmy Nelson hit 2 batters. Had a strange half inning for Nelson. It was a sac fly on a foul ball that was caught by VR. He fell into the stands. Had 2 errors in the inning. One of them a throwing error by Nelson. Another by Wilkins. And when it was all said and done, you figure after all of that, 3 runs, not so bad actually, considering what it could have been. Bases loaded, nobody out. Although on the flip side, could have been a whole lot better too. Nelson could have easily gotten out of that inning.
Maybe shouldn't have had any runs crossing. It could have been 5.
So maybe 3's a good number.
Somewhere in between.
2-2 to Goldschmidt. And Jimmy misses inside. Goldschmidt walked in the 3rd. Nelson's just kind of all over the place with his command here this year. Off to a decent start, but you give him credit for battling. He's been able to get out of some jams and hasn't had many blow-up games, although his last start in San Diego felt like that a little bit. There's no question about his competitiveness, his desire to win and be great. But the fastball is down a few ticks and his command is all over the place, and you just hope it's not an injury, maybe a fatigue. They talk a lot about in baseball the dead arm phase.
It's been basically the last month or so with the velocity down. I think Jimmy putting a lot of pressure on himself early in the season to be that guy in the rotation. Everybody else struggling. And just misses that outside corner.
Yep, another walk. Second time he's walked Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt walks a lot. He gets to 2 strikes a lot, but he does walk a lot. The It's his 35th walk with 2 strikes this year. Only Brandon Belt of the Giants has more. Both of his walks today coming with 2 strikes. And so here is Jake Lamb, 1 for 2. Nelson struck him out with 2 on base in the 3rd inning. That was a big spot for Nelson in this game. In the air, left center. That ball's well hit. And this one is not coming back. Lamb on the first pitch gives the Diamondbacks a 5-3 lead.
Well, Lamb knew that Jimmy wanted to get ahead of him after walking Goldschmidt, and he didn't waste it. That ball was smoked out there into left center. Young man can hit a little bit. Check this out. Had 2-seamer that didn't get away enough. With that little leg kick, good balance, and a follow through, and knocks it out of here to the opposite field. First pitch fastball.
Had that sound. 423-foot home run by Jake Lamb.
16th home run allowed by Jimmy.
And so it's 5-3 now. Here is Tomas. Lamb has 24 homers now. 72 RBIs. He's having a great year in Arizona. Slider in there for a strike.
Yeah, you got to have a guy like that behind Goldschmidt. If you don't have anybody that's hitting, they're not going to be pitching to Goldschmidt as Michael Blazek gets loose.
Tomas pulls it foul. That'll take the count to 1-2. Now the Cubs are in the top of the 8th today. They are in Oakland and they are shutting out the A's. 2-0 is the score in that game. Cubs are getting a shutout from Kyle Hendricks again, whose ERA continues to plummet. There's a swing and a miss, a strikeout for the first out of the inning.
The Cubs have won 6 straight.
Hendricks' ERA is down into the low 2s. He's got a 2-hitter going. Cubs and A's, a World Series rematch from the Wayback Machine. But you see the Cubs up 11 on the Cardinals. Pirates are 13 back, then the Brewers and the Reds. Cubs and A's played in the 1910 World Series. A's won that series in 5 games, and then they were in the 29 World Series. One of the biggest meltdowns in World Series history by the Cubs. If that 29 team would have won, we wouldn't have the curse of the Billy Goat right now, Rock.
The 2019?
The 29 Cubs team in that World Series.
You're going to have to refresh my memory.
Oh, you weren't there for that?
No, I don't know really what you're talking about.
Well, the Cubs are up 8-0. The A's scored 10 runs and won the game. Cubs were trying to even the series. Who knows how it would have.
That's right. I remember now.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah, okay.
Did you not have seats for that game? 1929?
I did not.
Line drive in right center for Ricky Weeks. That's going to split the gap, go all the way to the wall, and Weeks in with a double. And Nelson might be coming to the end of the line here shortly. Weeks has been on twice.
That fastball right down the middle, and Ricky Weeks, a very good high ball fastball hitter. Able to find that gap out in the right center. And another man in scoring position for the Diamondbacks.
Now here's Chris Owings now. This has been a pitchers beware kind of series. The last 2 games especially. Man. Nelson with a high pitch count. Just 1 out in the 5th inning. 5 runs are in on 6 hits. Four of the 5 runs are earned against Nelson. Jimmy's walked 3. He's hit 2 batters. And had big hopes starting the season that he would emerge as the Brewers' ace. He and Willie Peralta, the 2 young power right-handers that were going to lead the Brewers into this rebuild phase. Starting to look at a couple of setbacks in that category. Peralta back in AAA.
And then Jimmy Nelson started out really well, and then there was a stretch where the Brewers weren't scoring a lot of runs for him. He was losing some close games, pitching fairly well, and those kind of have snowballed on Jimmy.
I thought he turned a corner in Cincinnati in July coming out of the All-Star break. Went 7 shutout in that game. Got the win. Well, it's been all downhill since then. Two the count. Chris Owings, the Diamondbacks shortstop, who was hit by a pitch in the 4th and then had a single in the 2nd that snapped an 0 for 13 at the plate. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the mind of Jimmy Nelson right now. He is not in agreement with Maldonado about this next pitch.
He really hasn't had a good curveball today. And you've seen him in the last inning throw a few sliders.
See how he grips the curveball as he puts it in his glove. Always starts from that position.
And when you don't have your good stuff, I mean, you're just trying to find a pitch that you're comfortable in throwing and you feel like you can put it where you want it. And on the flip side of that, you're Maldonado. You're just hunting for Jimmy to make a good pitch with something, right? It's tough to call a game when your pitcher doesn't have his good stuff. And the other thing is, if you got a guy out there not throwing strikes, I mean, you really can't set up on the corners too much. You continue to get behind and walking batters, and although he's only walked 2, he's been behind a lot.
Weeks out at second with 1 out. He takes off, and the Maldonado's throw is late. Weeks got a huge jump. Maldonado made it close, but a stolen base. And the wheels are spinning here for Nelson and the Brewers.
You see nobody really holding him on out at second base. He got a lot of room, a big jump, and steals it easily.
A double and a steal. Runner at third with 1 out. Diamondbacks have a 2-run homer in this inning by Lamb. Infield is in. And a 3-2 pitch. Owings hangs in there. Shot to right. A base hit over the head of Neuenhuis. In to score is Weeks. Owings on his way to third. And the throw comes in late. That'll be an RBI triple for Owings. 6-3 Arizona.
Well, that ball had some carry on it. I think Neuenhuis surprised at how hard that ball was hit. He takes an angle on it. I guess if he had to do over again, he would have gone back a little bit further. The angle wasn't very good. I think it surprised him as hard as it was hit. Right-handed batter. Oh, he's not a lot of power, but sails over the head of Neuenhuis, and Ricky Weeks scores easily from third base. Didn't take a very good route on it because I think Neuenhuis, as I said, didn't think it was hit that hard.
And another tough outing for Jimmy Nelson. Well, there's got to be a lot of concern for the Brewers about Jimmy Nelson right now as he exits in the 5th inning. Continue for the Brewers. He is out after 4 1/3 innings. At this point, giving up 6 runs, 5 earned, and he'll give way to the bullpen in this 5th inning. The Diamondbacks lead by 3. It'll be Michael Blazek on to pitch.
Well, Blazek's been pitching much better since his recall from the minor leagues. And Blazek pitched here on Friday against the Diamondbacks, a scoreless inning. Gave up a hit, a couple of strikeouts.
Runner at third, 1 away. Brewers forced to bring their infield in again as Blazek tries to restore some order to this game. Back-to-back 3-run innings for Arizona. And they're still at it here in the 5th inning. Tuffy Goswitch, the batter. Brewers had a 2-0 lead. Diamondbacks scored 3 in the 4th to take the lead, and then the Brewers tied it. Arcia with an RBI single. And now 3 more on the board for Arizona. 2-run homer by Lamb early in this inning. Bouncer to short. Arcia makes the play. Throw to the plate is in time for the out. Well, another sweet pick by Orlando Arcia.
Yeah, the way he just kind of hangs that glove down there, really loosey-goosey, and that gives him the soft hands to be able to, pick those short hops. Check it out. Just lays the glove down there, and a very nice throw by Arcia to Maldonado to get the out. He's got some nice soft hands as Orlando Arcia. Got all the skills at shortstop. There's no question about that.
So the second out at the plate. Pinch hitter for Arizona, Phil Gosselin, will bat. Runner at first, 2 outs. Brewers only down 3, and this Diamondbacks bullpen with all of their struggles certainly feel like you're in it.
Yeah, this is far from over.
Brewers will have Jeanette, Neuenhuis, and Broxton in the 6th inning. Last game of this road trip. Brewers are trying to make it a 3-3 road trip. Lost 2 out of 3 in San Diego and trying to win 2 out of 3 here in Arizona. Pitching has been suspect for the Brewers on this trip.
Matt Garza had a pretty good game yesterday. Kind of hit the wall in the mid part of the game, but yeah, able to pick up a win.
That was Garza's first road win of the year. Ran out of gas in the 6th inning with a 9-0 lead. But the Brewers had plenty of offense yesterday. Season high 15 runs on 18 hits. Broxton had 5 of them. Braun with those 7 RBIs. They're going to need some of that offense today. Down 3. 2 balls and a strike on Gosselin. And that one is hit well. Gosselin sends Braun back. Goodbye. A home run for the pinch hitter. And the Diamondbacks add 2 more to it. It is now 8-3 Arizona.
He just golfed that one out of here. Fastball from Blazek down. Watch him just drop the head of the bat on it, down and in, and just rides it out of here to left. Quick hands, down and in, and a home run, 2nd of the inning for the Diamondbacks.
2nd pinch hit home run of the year for Gosselin. And the Diamondbacks answer a 3-run inning with a 5-run 5th inning. 2nd pinch hit homer for the Diamondbacks this season, I should say, not Gosselin. That was his first. Segura rips one into deep left center. That's way back off the fence, and Segura's in with a double. Hit that one like a bullet. And the Diamondbacks are going to bat around here in the 5th inning.
Boy, 2 very long innings for the Brewers defensively, 4th and 5th. And a lot of batters. 24th double of the year for Segura. Another man in scoring position. So the Diamondbacks turning the tables on what the Brewers did to them last night.
That feels very similar. 8 runs on 9 hits. Closed the book on Jimmy Nelson with 7 runs, 6 earned. And his 2 starts on this road trip resulting in 12 earned runs. Michael Bourne with a runner at 2nd and 2 outs. In the air, Arce is back. Braun's coming in. Braun will make the call, and that will retire the side, but it was an ugly one for the Brewers. Diamondbacks get 5, and they now lead it 8-3 as we go to the 6th.
The Diamondbacks with a 5-run lead, and today's time of the game winner, the Dugout Bar and Grill in Manitowoc. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Sounds pretty good right about now. Diamondbacks have a new pitcher on the mound, Steve Hathaway, left-hander. And he'll face Scooter Gennett to start this inning. Gennett, Neuenhuis, and Broxton scheduled to hit. First two are lefties. 8-3 Diamondbacks.
Yeah, came up from AAA on the 31st and made his major league debut that day against the Dodgers. He made 37 appearances down in AA, so he's been in AA, AAA, now the big leagues, the big tall left-hander.
A couple of things around baseball we're keeping an eye on today. We're still tracking Ichiro, who is in the lineup for the Marlins today in Colorado. He is one hit shy of 3,000. Ichiro is 0 for 3 today.
And that game is 8-6, so a lot of runs for the Marlins. Are up 8-6, but no hits for Ichiro.
He's been in a bit of a slump, actually, as Gennett knocked down by Segura, and that'll be a base hit for Gennett. Good effort by Segura, but Scooter is aboard, and a leadoff single, an infield hit for the lefty. Continues to hit left-handers well.
Once again, keep pecking away here. This Diamondbacks bullpen has been hemorrhaging runs this year, so you hope that the Brewers pitching staff can keep the Diamondbacks off the board and maybe come back in this game.
Another lefty on lefty matchup. Here's Neuenhuis. One interesting note about the Marlins and Ichiro, who's pursuing 3,000. The Marlins will host the Giants tomorrow. So the Marlins in Colorado today. They'll make the flight back home. The Giants are coming in. Barry Bonds, the hitting coach for Miami. And of course the Giants, his old team. And then Ichiro, if he should get his 3,000th hit against the Giants, that would be a bit of a closing of the circle. Remember, it was the Giants that had the first Japanese-born player in the big leagues, Masanori Murakami, back in the 60s. And I think it's safe to say that Ichiro is the most accomplished and the most famous of the Japanese players that have come to play Major League Baseball, and likely headed for the Hall of Fame here.
Yeah, just so talented. Excuse me.
A swing and a miss. Neuenhuis down on strikes for out number 1.
And most people forget that Ichiro is one of the best defensive outfielders in the big leagues when he was in his prime. Not just a hitter. I mean, he could do it all. Tremendous throwing arm, cover a lot of ground, great outfielder. I mean, there's no question that Ichiro is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I can't believe he wouldn't. First Asian-born player to make the Hall of Fame.
Man, he brought the defense as well. The Gold Glove defense did Ichiro, and I'm glad he's back in the spotlight. You know, he's been out of the headlines the last few years, signing with the Marlins at 42 years of age this year, pursuing hit number 3,000. Matter of fact, we bring up Ichiro and the news just comes across. He tripled to right field for his 3,000th hit just a moment ago.
You know the only other player to get his 3,000 hit a triple?
I do not.
Paul Molitor.
Very nice. Now, where'd you get that, Rock?
I just knew that. I didn't have to go to the computer.
That's a good trivia question. So now Paul Molitor and Ichiro with their 3,000th hits as triples.
See?
You're not just a pretty face.
Although I do have a clone down in the seats.
Doppelganger. There's a walk. Broxton is on again. He's walked twice today. So he's reached base 9 of his last 10. There's Rock. How you doing, pal?
You think?
He's got your same look as you do at this moment.
How you doing, pal?
That's kind of your thing.
Is that me? One big difference is I would not have a golf hat on. That's not me.
You're more of the straw hat variety. Tiny little golf hat.
Pinch hitting for Andy Wilkins, number 33.
Chris Carter is going to pinch hit here. Counsell is going to take a shot and try to launch back into this game with one swing of the bat. As Butcher, the pitching coach, comes out for a scouting report on Carter. Carter at the top of the Powerball home run leaderboard with 25 on the season. And Carter among league leaders in that category. Chris hits him in bunches, and he'd like to start one of those trips right now. Currently 6th in the National League in homers. Well, big spot for the Brewers. 2 on with 1 out. And Chris Carter, the pinch hitter, with Maldonado on deck. One swing of the bat. This is a brand new ball game here today.
You just got to keep grinding it out. You know, this Diamondbacks ball club, only the Reds have a higher earned run average as a team. Well, they can give up some runs. We saw it last night.
Breaking ball for a strike. 0-2 the count on Carter. He didn't like that call. But right on the corner. Good pitch. Carter looking for a mistake. Pinch hitting in the 6th inning. 2 on, 1 out. And he breaks his bat. Chance to turn 2. Segura to Owings. And it's in time for a double play. Inning is over.
Well, Craig Counsell wants to take a look at it.
Hold the band. Counsell wants to make sure, and now Counsell says thumbs up.
Now we can go. Can we? No.
Counsell says no thanks. Good call. All right. Strike up the band. We go to commercial. Diamondbacks are coming up. The 6th inning from Phoenix, Arizona. Our Carsoup.com trivia. Who are the 4 MLB players to hit a World Series home run in 3 different decades? How you feeling about that one, partner?
I like it.
You like those names? Those are Yankees in there. Berra and DiMaggio, Eddie Murray, and the Diamondbacks third base coach, Matt Williams, did it. Matt Williams had a home run in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Diamondbacks, Giants.
That's a good list to be on right there.
And the Indians in that 97 World Series. Craig Counsell was on the winning side of that World Series in 97. Matter of fact, Counsell scored the World Series winning run for the Marlins in 97. 3 different teams in 3 different decades for Matt Williams. That's a long way from Counsell's mind right now. Williams, the manager of the Nationals up until last season, let go at the end of the year. After a disappointing season in Washington, Dusty Baker took over that club. And he comes back home to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And Nationals now, with Dusty Baker at the helm, have a 7-game lead coming into play today.
Paul Goldschmidt in a 2-2 count to start this 6th inning. And a wave and a miss. Blazek with a good slider strikes him out.
A nice breaking pitch from Michael Blazek. He's got to get that pitch working. When you get a strikeout and make Goldschmidt look like that on his swing, that's a pretty good pitch.
Blazek with 1 away. Came in for Nelson last inning with 1 out. Nelson, another tough start. He gives up 6 earned runs in 4 1/3 today. His final line, 4 1/3 with 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned. He walked 3, struck out 4.
It's one thing to give up hits and give up runs, but that 4th inning is a head scratcher. I mean, Diamondbacks able to score 3 runs on 1 hit, 2 hit batters, 3 errors, and those are the ones that hurt.
Had a 3-run 4th. Diamondbacks with a 5-run 5th. Lamb started it with a 2-run home run, and he whistles one back up the middle. His 3rd hit of the game. And Lamb is on with 1 out in the 6th inning. Oh, Diamondbacks may have found something here. He's had his troubles throwing the ball at 3rd base, but boy, can he hit.
Hey, look at this pitch away. Goes right back through the middle, right at Blazek and into center field. That's a nice swing. Look at the balance for Lamb. Opens up those hips and gets that bat through the hitting zone. Looks good at the plate.
Now Yosmani Tomas. Broken bat and a base hit. Lamb makes a turn. He'll stop around second. Tomas still holding the part of the handle of his bat.
That thing broke in 3 different pieces. Look at it. Ever seen a bat break like that?
You get a piece in the right hand, a piece in the left hand.
Check it out, right off the end of the bat.
Wow, look at that.
He's running down like a baton. He's in a race. That's not something you see every day.
I have never seen that.
Almost identical sizes. The breaks. And he might have a piece in his finger.
As if he polished off a couple of drumsticks right there. But a broken bat single. That's twice he has broken bat hits today. 2 on, 1 out. Here's Ricky Weeks Jr. Doubled his last time up. Yep, 3 pieces. Diamondbacks have 11 hits. Up the middle, base hit. Coming in, Lamb. He'll score as Ricky Weeks with an RBI single. It's 9-3 Arizona.
Getting a lot of the plate is Michael Blazek. That time a breaking pitch right down the middle. Check it out. Right down the middle. Ricky
Shortstop.
hits it hard, bounces it right into center field, and another run in. 9-3. So Blazek having his problems today. And no activity in that Brewers bullpen.
Here's Owings. Doubled in a run last inning. He has 2 hits. Quickly 0-2 on him.
Oh, he's the last hitter that Jimmy faced. That was that bullet line drive over the head of Neuenhuis for a triple. That chased Jimmy Nelson.
Blazek would love to get a double play ball here. He's got Owings 0-2. Diamondbacks have a run in. It's 9-3. And that one is in the air. A high pop up into shallow center. Broxton eases in. He's got it for the out. 2 gone in the inning.
Yeah, got away with one there. That slider. Hey, mark your calendars for another free shirt Friday as the Brewers host the Reds. This Friday, and all fans will get a Milwaukee Icons t-shirt courtesy of Wisconsin Harley Davidson. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
You been to the Harley Davidson Museum?
Yeah.
That's a great spot.
Have you?
I have.
I mean, everybody has.
A lot of fun. Not everybody. Try by the ballpark. As far as museums go, it's one of my favorites.
Are you a biker?
No.
You just like looking at them?
No, yeah. I'd like one. I used to actually ride and race motorcycles when I was a little kid. Honda 80. Wee wee.
You raced motorcycle?
I did when I was little.
How little?
BMX bikes and motorcycles. I was from age 8 to 11. Don't tell my mom though. She never knew about it. It was all underground rock.
I can keep a secret. It's going to cost you though.
You look like a big Harley guy.
No, I never really got into it. I think it's a little bit late right now. You know, my center of gravity is a little bit off. Getting a little bit older. Had I got involved in the motorcycles, my father was never into it really. Never exposed a whole lot to motorcycles. Although they're beautiful machines.
2 balls and a strike. Go switch takes a ball. That's more your speed right there, huh?
Yeah.
That looks like your truck. Did you drive here?
Not this time. I have driven from Milwaukee to Phoenix.
Rock's got a truck just like that, and on any given day at Miller Park, you will see 3 or 4 cars blocked in for the duration of the game behind that truck.
I keep warning them, I'm parking there no matter what. And you're not leaving until I leave.
No early escapes with the big Dodge Ram covering it up. By the way, all that nonsense about why you don't ride motorcycles, just be honest. Your wife won't let you, and she's smart for saying that.
See, now I'm going to tell your mother about the motorcycle. See? Oh, boy.
Pop up in the infield. Runners are running. Garcia makes the catch, and the inning is over.
I'm calling her now.
9-3 Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks over the Brewers as we head to the 7th. Our minor league report. We check in with Clint Coulter. It was a mid-season call-up for him from High A Brevard County to Double A Biloxi. So he made his first start last night, 2 for 2, a walk, 4 runs. Yet he was recalled on August 5th. You see what he was able to do with Brevard County, a .220 average, 6 home runs. Said he was very excited about the mid-season call-up. First time it's happened for him. The 2012 first-round pick for the Brewers.
Well, and therein is the difference between a first-round draft pick and a 20th round draft pick. Yep. Because Coulter, there's a lot invested in him, a lot of money, a lot of player development, and it's time to push him and see what he can be at the Double A level.
Yep. Switch positions. He was a catcher when he got signed.
Maldonado is the big league catcher now, and he leads off this 7th inning. 9-3 Arizona. It's been a mess for the Brewers over the last 3 innings. Had a 2-0 lead going into the 4th.
By the way, your mother knew you raced motorcycles.
No, she didn't. She probably did. Moms have a way.
They're like producers. They know everything.
That's true. Strike to Maldonado. Ball and 2 strikes. And a wave and a miss. And a strikeout for Hathaway. That'll bring up Jake Elmore, who will pinch hit here in the 7th inning.
Pinch hitting for Michael Blazek, number 7.
So Blazek's day is over. Elmore will bat. Blaine Boyer will be next out of the Brewers bullpen. Well, Hathaway's come in, thrown strikes, settled this game down. Started with Hudson in the 5th. And he got out of that 5th inning, and then Hathaway's worked the last 2. Just one infield hit. Got a double play off the bat of Carter last inning. Bouncer foul.
Yeah, with Broxton and Arcia up now with the big club. 2 guys have been greatly affected as far as playing time goes. Jake Elmore, one of them. He hadn't made too many starts. And Ramon Flores, we haven't seen him too much since Broxton's starting to swing the bat well.
In the air to right, playable for Tomas. And there's out number 2. Well, we told you about it. Let's give you the images. Ichiro sitting on 2,999 hits. Thought he was going to hit one out like Jeter for his 3,000th. Ended up off the wall. And a triple for Ichiro. Hit number 3,000. Joining Paul Molitor as the 2 with triples for their 3,000th hit. What a great moment for Ichiro Suzuki.
Something else. Some kind of baseball player, Ichiro.
Well, you wonder about his playing time now the rest of the season. You wonder how much he'll be in the lineup. Been a struggling hitter this year, but the Marlins, they're in a pennant race. Ichiro might not be that everyday weapon anymore. But I tell you, what a bat to have off the bench. You know, the Marlins right now are only 7.5 back. As you see some of the superlatives on Ichiro. 30th player with 3,000 hits. He had 1,278 in Japan. It's been an interesting topic and debate about Pete Rose and his hit totals in the major leagues and Ichiro in Japan. And Ichiro could make a strong case for the hit king in professional baseball, no question. There's a called strike 3 and VR is rung up. Hathaway retires the side in order 1, 2, 3. 7th inning stretch time at Chase Field, and we turn it over to the public address announcer here at Chase and their presentation of God Bless America. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask that you please rise and sing along as we pay tribute to our great nation with the singing of God Bless America.
7th inning, and we'll have a pinch hitter here. We got a new pitcher as well, as Blaine Boyer will enter this game. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, Boyer was on the mound, issued the walk, the walk-off for the Diamondbacks in 11 innings on Friday. It was a borderline pitch, but Boyer, after the game, was asked about it, and he took it on himself. Very stand-up individual was Boyer.
Well, veterans are going to do that. They had 2 hits, a walk, and a loss for the Brewers in 11 innings. That was a Wellington Castillo walk-off base on balls.
Brandon Drury, the pinch hitter. Nine runs on 12 hits. This has been one to forget so far. Boyer trying to hold serve. The Diamondbacks have scored in each of the last 3 innings. Boyer always works from the stretch. And a ground ball to Arcia. Nice big hop for him. 1 away. I love that connection between Ichiro and Paul Molitor as the two to have their 3,000th hit as triples. You realize Ichiro has been a professional baseball player longer than the Colorado Rockies has been a franchise. He started his pro career as an 18-year-old in '92 in Japan. Came to the States 7 years after that. Won the Rookie of the Year and the MVP. Fly ball into right. Segura on the first pitch. He is out. 2 gone in the inning. Here's a flashback moment for you. So the last player before today to have his 3,000th hit be a triple. It was Paul Molitor in '96 in Kansas City. And a Hall of Fame career. Paul Molitor.
That's got to be an incredible feeling. You know, that kind of accomplishment, a long career, and not many have been able to experience that.
Now the Brewers with 2 in the 3,000 hit club. Well, Hank Aaron as well, but the 2 in Molitor and Robin Yount. Interesting thing about Hank Aaron's totals, if you take away all of his homers, his 755 home runs, he still has over 3,000 hits. He finished with 3,771 hits.
Yeah.
A swing and a miss, and Boyer strikes out Bourne. And the Brewers needed an inning like that. 1, 2, 3. Top of the 8th inning. And the Brewers are coming up. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Girls on the Run in their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration is now open. You can learn more about how you can get involved with this fall and visit the foxsportsupports.com website. Girls on the Run. Great program. Enrique Burgos is on the mound for the Diamondbacks as we go to inning number 8. Orlando Arcia will lead off.
He's been throwing the ball pretty well, that 327 earned run average, but lately, last 14 appearances, he's allowed only 2 runs in 15 in the 3rd innings. Saw him on Friday, tossed a scoreless inning.
Arcia back in the starting lineup today. His 5th game as a big leaguer. Had an RBI single in the 5th inning. Scored 4 runs yesterday. Brewers had a couple of rookie records in yesterday's game. Arcia tied a rookie record with 4 runs scored, and Keon Broxton with a rookie record, 5 hits in yesterday's game. Well, you can see him tomorrow, Milwaukee. Brewers are back home against the Braves. Start a 4-game series tomorrow night. Don't forget that is a 6:20 first pitch. Starts about an hour earlier than normal. Monday special start time tomorrow, 6:20. Don't show up late, Rock.
I'll be early.
Arcia draws the walk. On base for the 2nd time. Well, Sophia had a chance to visit with Orlando before the game. What do you have to allow, Sophia?
Well, it's certainly been a memorable week for him with a number of milestones. Of course, the debut on Tuesday, his 22nd birthday on Thursday, picking up his first hits and RBIs here this weekend in Phoenix. Yeah, you see the timeline for him, and then last night scoring 4 runs, just the 3rd time a rookie has done that in Brewers history. And maybe what impresses you most is the way he takes all of this in stride. He was very businesslike, said of course he's very happy, very grateful to be here to have this opportunity, a dream come true opportunity for him. And he says he just feels more confident, feels better every day that he's out there on the field, and very businesslike in his approach, very calm, very cool, collected. Said he just wants to keep working hard and keep performing and keep contributing to this team.
Saying all the right things, Rock. I mean, a rookie, you don't want a rookie to come in and, he's going to be in the limelight because obviously of the kind of player he is, the kind of prospect he is. Looks like we got a little bit of a delay here on the mound. Not sure what this is all about. That's the pitching coach out there, Mike Butcher, and we got mound issues as the grounds crew makes their 2nd in-game visit of this series.
Well, apparently in the Washington National Series, Max Scherzer dug a big rut in it with his landing foot, and it affected some of the relievers for the Diamondbacks, and they were complaining after the game. And Chip Hale made it very clear to his bullpen or any of his pitchers that if you have an issue with the mound, don't tell me after the game you're giving up 3-4 runs because of that. Let's get it taken care of. The ground crew will come out and they'll fix the mound. So it's happened twice. Well, you see what the landing foot for Burgos he's having an issue with. Now if he has the same stride and steps in the same spot, it's not a big deal. But if his landing foot is on the slope, that can create a problem.
Yeah, that's when you're asking for an arm injury there.
It was something that Chip Hale addressed before this series.
Now the Diamondbacks are going on the road after this game. You just wonder if the grounds crew here will completely rebuild this mound at that point, or at least the landing area.
Because this is something you very rarely see in the major leagues. I mean, you don't see it in the minor leagues at all, but most of these mounds are just packed with clay. It's a mixture. I'm not sure what the mix is, but it's not just dirt. You can see the way they're pounding it down. It's pretty solid.
That would be the tamper.
But again, no mound is perfect, but they are a lot better than they used to be. And this is not something you see very often. You see it after weather has hit.
Right.
You know, there's been some rain, and you get the diamond dry out there, and maybe they'll fill up a little bit of a hole. But this is twice now. This Diamondbacks pitching staff, back-to-back nights, have asked for the ground crew to fix the mound. Maybe a bit overkill.
Well, let's see if it is to Burgo's liking now.
Because you never see this with the Brewers bullpen. You never see this with any bullpen, really. Back-to-back nights for the Diamondbacks, and you wonder how long this is going to last. I mean, they're going to do this every night.
Well, you know, you plant that seed if you're Chip Hale, and I think some of these guys who have been struggling going to make sure it's perfect. Blaine Boyer was dealing with the mound just fine.
I guess he might go back after the game and say, now, look, I told you if you have a problem with the mound, it's not going to be perfect, so don't call him out every night.
When I said don't blame it on the mound, I didn't mean every day. All right, well, the mound's been fixed. Just a slight delay. Arcia's at first, Ryan Braun at the plate. The Brewers are down 9-3. And Braun bounces one foul. Oh, and 2 the count. Did you ever work on the field at any level? I know you're a high-level collegiate player too, but
no, in college we fixed our own field.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, don't give me that. I mean, I did some of that. You know what we used to do at Clemson? We used to get a fair amount of rain. I mean, you know, when the field was really dim, we didn't have a tarp.
Yeah, no tarp.
We didn't have a tarp, so Bill Wilhelm, our manager, our coach, who is now in the College Hall of Fame, would get gasoline and set the field on fire.
That seems safe.
To dry it out, yeah. So you have all
these highly priced athletes. Here's some gas and a lighter. What could go wrong? That sounds like a great idea.
It worked.
We did the same thing when I was in college, except we didn't have the gas and the lighter. Our coach actually invested in a blowtorch. And he'd walk up and down the field and blowtorch.
You know, and if you're fixing the field and there's a lot of water on it, and if you were caught spitting on the field, you had to take a lap.
Is that right?
Because that's just more liquid that they had to soak up. Don't be spitting on the field.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and Braun fouls it back. Look out. I think that hit Steve Berthume, the Diamondbacks play-by-play announcer, as he's trying to get out of the way. I think he wore it. That's what we call an ugly finder, Steve.
He looks all right.
There's a shot, fair ball. Goldschmidt on the bag for the out there. Arcia now in a rundown. And Arcia tagged out. Boy, what a play by Goldschmidt. Ends up as a double play. That was a shot off the bat of Braun.
And that's what he does so well. That's so impressive. Ryan Braun able to hit a ball like that hard, down toward the first baseline. Arcia doing the best he can to try and get in the pickle. Now he can go back to first if he's able to. Once that out is recorded at first base, you're getting a rundown. You can end up back at first base again.
So 2 outs. Goldschmidt's on Gold Glove form right there. Much better than his television play-by-play announcer. 2 gone for Jeanette. I'm not a fan of foul balls coming right at me, but I do enjoy a good foul ball drilling one of our compadres up here. I mean, that's good entertainment.
Yeah. You like slapstick, right?
Yeah, sure.
Inflicting pain.
Oh, that's great. Jeanette, a swing and a miss. Check this out, Rock. Watch. Foul ball. Now watch Berthume. It's coming up. Look at him bail. I got him on a bounce. I thought it drilled him clean. That's not hard.
You know, he's smart enough not to try and catch it barehanded, though.
Well, you should have caught it.
No, you don't. That hurts.
And Jeanette strikes out. Side retired. Excellent play by Goldschmidt. Not so excellent by Berthume. 9-3 Diamondbacks. All right. Good stuff, Jeff. Always delivers.
Yeah. Never mails it in.
Counsel Capuano in that deal for Richie Sexton as Goldschmidt leads off this 8th inning. 9-3 Diamondbacks. It has been one to forget today on this Sunday.
Something about the Diamondbacks where the Brewers have not been able to field all that well. Remember back in Milwaukee, first 2 innings of a game, the Brewers had 5 errors in the first 2 innings.
3 errors today, 6 in the series, and in the 7 games against the Diamondbacks, the Brewers have committed 15 errors.
Man,
yikes. Good thing we're not playing the Diamondbacks anymore after today. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Goldschmidt. Boyer trying to give Counsel a couple of innings. Barring a big comeback by the Brewers, he could get to the finish line with Boyer and not have to tap into that bullpen anymore. Remember, the Brewers are in a run of consecutive days without an off day. Don't have another off day till next Monday. That ball's hit hard to right, but right at Neuenhuis for out number 1.
MLB TV Premium, the #1 streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details.
MLB.tv is how we're tracking a lot of this activity today. Ichiro with his 3,000th hit, a triple. Billy Hamilton stole 4 bases today for the Reds.
Yeah.
He's the new National League leader in steals. 1 ahead of VR. VR did have a stolen base earlier today to give him 42, but Hamilton has 43 now. Jake Lamb with a big day for the Diamondbacks. In the air to left. This will be playable for Braun. 2 outs. Another big play we saw on MLB.tv. How about this play? Mike Trout of the Angels against the Mariners in Seattle. And he's got that look. You know Trout is going to make plays like this. Wow. What a vertical. Timed it perfectly.
I mean, he's something else. Man, anybody better in the big leagues?
Both sides, right? Offense, defense, speed.
Yep.
What a player.
Same hometown as Don Money. You mentioned Don Money earlier today. Vineland, New Jersey. That's where Trout's from.
Mike Trout is 25 years of age today, Rob.
Yeah, Don Money's a little older than that.
How far from your hometown is
Vineland, South Jersey? Probably
and
good.
Where are you from? Trenton? Trenton. And how far is that from Vineland?
I don't know exactly. Never been to Vineland.
There's a line drive to Carter. And that will retire the side. Is it important to pronounce the T in Trenton?
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton.
This here in the Valley of the Sun. 9-3 Diamondbacks. The Brewers return home to Miller Park tomorrow to kick off a 7-game homestand with a 4-game set against the Atlanta Braves tomorrow through Thursday. Check out all the week's promotions and reserve your spot today at Brewers.com.
And the Miller Lite What's on Tap, the pitching matchups for the series. And Davies starting us off tomorrow. 5:30 airtime tomorrow. First pitch just after 6 o'clock. Remember, that's a 6:20 first pitch tomorrow. And then a couple of night games and then a day game for the finale on Thursday.
Yeah, the closer for the Diamondbacks on here. It's been a while for him, so Chip Hale figuring better get his closer some work. 96 miles an hour with a fastball. They have traded away 2 closers, have the Diamondbacks. Tyler Clippard and Brad Ziegler.
Jake Barrett. Saw him pitch an inning in a tie game on Friday. Diamondbacks won that one Friday in extra innings. Brewers won yesterday 15-6, and the D-backs have turned the tables on the Brewers today 9-3 as we play in the ninth. Neuenhuis starts it, then Broxton. Brewers need a whole bunch of base runners right now if they're going to fight the good fight here today. Brewers continue their struggles on the road. They've been a good team at home. It's hard to figure. A lot of young teams thrive on the road. You get them in the bunker mentality, and that's what the Diamondbacks have experienced this year. They've been a much better road team than a home team. The Brewers are actually over 500 at home this year. They're 30-25. A loss today on the road, they go to 19-35 on the road. And Neuenhuis draws a walk. Good way to start the inning. That'll get Broxton an at bat with a man on. Neuenhuis needed that. Had 3 strikeouts leading up to his final at bat. Get something positive going back for the homestand.
Well, what a homestand he had, but kind of cooled off on the road, as it's been the case throughout the season.
So here is Broxton. He ran a streak of consecutive plate appearances on base to 8 with his walk in the second inning. Struck out in the fourth and then right back to it in the sixth when he walked. Got a batting average of .213. When he left Miller Park, he was hitting in the mid 100s, around 160. Been a very productive road trip for him.
Yeah, 5 for 5 will help that batting average quite a bit when you don't have that many at bats. They've been pitching him inside all day.
Broxton has 4 doubles, has a triple, and 3 home runs now on the season. And a strike in there. Broxton punches out for the first out of the inning. And 0 for 2 today. Brewers baseball all series long, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Chris Carter with one away. Brewers took a shot with Carter at the plate in the 6th inning. Down 5 runs. There were 2 on. And you know, Counsell was thinking long ball there to get him right back into it, but Carter bounced into a 4-6-3 double play that ended the inning. And might have been the last real threat for the Brewers today.
Once again, the Diamondbacks bullpen has been solid. They really struggled last night, but Friday and Sunday they have kept the Brewers off the board.
Second at bat for Carter. Andy Wilkins got the start at first. 2 balls and a strike as we play in the 9th. That ball's hit high in the air to right, deep, but Tomas has room. And that'll be out number 2. And the Brewers are down to their last hope. Counsell's going to send up a pinch hitter. And the backup catcher, Manny Pena.
Pitch hitting.
Might see Pena in there tomorrow as a starter.
Number 9,
Maldonado
Manny
took a
Pena.
beating today.
I kind of thought he might have got a start today. You know, day game after a night game. But Council elected to go back with Maldonado.
One last scouting report from Mike Butcher.
When did that all start? You know, pinch hitter?
I don't know.
I mean, pitching coach goes out every time there's a pinch hitter.
He runs out. He says, okay, we got a pinch hitter. Breaking ball down and away. Fastball in.
Of course, this guy hadn't seen any of the hitters he's faced in this inning. Right? What's the difference with the pinch hitter?
Exactly. I hear you, man.
Just curious.
No,
I mean,
I'm with you. How about we limit the trips to the mound? That might be one way we
well,
could.
they do that.
True, but we could limit it even more.
Yeah.
They should ask us. As Pena lines to right, and that scouting report was a bad one.
See, a waste of a trip.
Yep. Well, Manny Pena with a single to right. Way to go, Manny. Give a scouting report on me.
Yeah, he can hit. I mean, he swings a good bat. Make good contact to right field.
Pinch hitting.
Got another pinch hitter. We're going to have
Number
another
18, Ramon
visit to the mound. It
Flores.
would mean you'd have to change pitchers.
Yeah, you got to take him out if you do that.
Pena's got a nice stroke.
Yes, he does. He stays on it very well. He's got pretty quick on the inside corner.
Ramon Flores will pinch hit. So do you think Barrett's on the mound right now feeling a little anxious because he doesn't have a scouting report?
Right. He's kind of lost.
Work fast, throw strikes. You've been in those meetings before. What kind of conversations, what kind of phrases are we getting from the pitching coach?
Yeah, just relax. You know, give me your good stuff. Just your generic, you know, cliches, basically.
Positive encouragement.
Right, exactly. Keep the ball down. There's certain hitters, I mean, there's certain areas where they can't cover all that well, but you know, pitchers have to pitch to their strengths.
Candlesticks make a nice gift. That legendary scene from Bull Durham.
Right.
Still my favorite. Three and 0 is the count. Brewers have 2 on. They're down 6. And it's a 4-pitch walk. And now the bases are loaded. Well, Brewers could make it interesting. You go to the top of the order. You got 2 pitchers in the bullpen for Arizona.
Yep. Everything was going well for Barrett until that trip to the mound. Kind of disrupted his timing. He gave up a hit and a walk.
At the plate, third baseman Jonathan VR.
Well, VR, he's been among the hottest for the Brewers. On base 3 times today. He scored all 3 runs in this game and hit a solo home run in the 3rd inning. Home run here makes it very interesting. Crowd trying to help him out. Most have left of the 25,000 that were here today. In there, strike 2. And now the Brewers down to their last strike. VR can turn a good day into a great day right here. Way outside, 1-2. VR's batting average now .307. He's second in the league in steals now. Billy Hamilton had a 4 stolen base day. He's not trailed in that category for the good part of the season. In the dirt.
And that's the pitch right there that has really helped him this year. Greg Counsell talking about that breaking pitch out of the strike zone with 2 strikes. He's been really doing a good job laying off of it.
VR in this series is 7 for 11. And on this road trip is 11 for 22. Two the count on VR. And a strike called. And the ball game is over. VR disagrees. But the game's going to end on a strikeout. And the Diamondbacks win 9-3. And they win the series 2 out of 3. Brewers go 2-4 on the road trip. And finally headed back home for a series against the Atlanta Braves as Craig Counsell gets off a couple of parting shots to the umpires. Jeff Grayson ready to roll. He's in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio. It is time for Brewers Live. Take it away, Jeff.